Most people don't know this story, but that driver saved TaylorMade. It saved the company.
I just got the chills.
Chevy Equinox. It is your do-it-all SUV from your daily drives, weekend trips, and last-minute tee times. Look, man, Chevy's been doing it for over 100 years. We do get into some 1776 talk on this show. America, we're reading that book. The founding of America, what it really took. I don't know that you can find a company more American than Chevrolet and Chevy, and that bow tie and the fact that they have been supporting this show for years now. They continue to support us. It means the world, and we got a packed show today brought to you by the Chevy Equinox boys.
Yeah, Chevy's just been a great partner with us, a great sponsor of the show. I'm actually heading down to the Daytona 500 in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to be watching out for those Chevys, that their motorsports team. I know it's a little bit different than who we deal with, but still under that same beautiful American emblem. That Chevy logo is something that we do not take lightly. Great show. CEO of TaylorMade on the show. We also get some breaking news in the Patrick Reed department live on the show, which is one of the first times we've ever gotten a breaking news call out from the producer, which is just a rush that you really can't replicate. So we had no idea what was going to happen. It could have been the country. I'm reading the 1776 book. Could have been anything.
That was fun.
It really could have been anything, but it was Patrick Reed coming back to PGA Tour potentially. Very, very fun. So yeah, great show. Shout out to Chevy. I think it's one of our strongest shows of the year, and we've had a real good start to the year, fellas.
Absolutely. The bold, athletic, and confident style of the Equinox looks just as good at the course as it does off the map. Equinox's big touchscreen, it puts all your music, maps, and tech front and center. Chevy Equinox is your do-it-all, go-anywhere SUV. Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. Big week in the world of golf as Brooks Koepka is returning at Torrey Pines. So we're going to talk about that. A couple comments that he made during his press conference. Next week is the WM Phoenix Open, which pretty much our whole crew will be at. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But we've got a very special guest on today's show, which is going to be the meat of the show, most of the show. We've got a CEO, a chief executive officer of a multi-billion-dollar company that is one of the most influential companies in the entire world of golf. David Abeles from TaylorMade joins the show. He's an incredible person, man. He's very impressive the way that he speaks. And, do we talk about some of the products? You're damn right we do, because the products are awesome. But also just, Frankie was grilling him about his story. How did he become the CEO of a company like TaylorMade? His sort of entire ethos of being obsessed with golf, TaylorMade being obsessed with golfers, TaylorMade being obsessed with working with the right people, and how that has really catapulted the company. He talks about moments and products that they really went all in on, that if they didn't hit the way they hit, those things ended up saving the entire company. So it's an awesome interview with a very impressive person today, gentlemen.
Yeah, we all like that podcast Acquired, where they talk about businesses and how businesses started and all the stories behind them. You could get David Abeles on a show for 10 hours, and he would be able to construct a story of how he got there, how everyone around him got there, how the company got there. Like, to become a CEO, you have to be so ingrained in the culture of the company. Obviously, you have to make such incredibly important decisions. It's just so interesting to me that I was actually saying this to my wife at dinner last night, because I was so into that interview that we had once we had finished. I'm like, we all are just human beings, and like, we just decide that some people like have it more than others, and that they're going to be the ones that make the decisions based. And like, we've all just decided that it happens with presidents and people in Congress. Like, we just like decide, like, you are the person that is going to make these decisions for us. And I'm not saying that he's like on the same level as, presidents. I mean, I was actually going to paint them in the same picture as George Washington. I'm reading the 1776 book.
Okay.
Where like, you just have these people that,
man,
like,
he's going to love that.
They just like lead other people to where they think the right decision is. And that takes so much risk. And also there's so much reward in that, but there's so much that goes into every decision, whether it be, we're going to come out with this driver, or we're going to go to carbon, or we're going to come out with this golf ball that has funny little emojis on it. And like, that's kind of a risk, because we were always just like a dead straight, like, golf company. Now we're going to go more towards like collaborating with putting Marvel characters on golf balls and trying to bring people from all over different parts of the world into the game of golf. Like, making these decisions are massive, 2,400 people working under him. Like they have families and lives and healthcare and all these things that he has to make sure like stays going forward and up and better. And that is so interesting to me. Products aside, like his role is something that I find so impressive, and just like to get to that point in life is so incredible. And to be able to speak to someone like that just really got me going, fellas. Like it really, really got me going.
I totally agree with what you're saying. And I was thinking about it more afterwards as well. And I was almost more nervous to talk to him than some of the professional golfers that we've had on the show or that we've had in videos, just because I don't understand kind of what you're saying, how you get to that point. Like a professional golfer, they're obviously really good at golf. They practice a lot. And I can see logically how they can get to the point where they are winning golf tournaments or at least on the PGA Tour. A guy like David Abeles, I know so little about that world, about the corporate structure and how you climb the ladder and who gets, tapped to go up and who doesn't, who stays lateral. I'm totally with you. That corporate world and he's on top of it at TaylorMade as the CEO. I couldn't even start to explain how he got there. And he explains a lot of it to us during the interview, but for a guy like me, who I'm an idiot, I don't really know what's going on most of the time. I certainly, like, part of the reason I got into this Barstool job or why I wanted it is because I didn't understand the corporate structure. And then we have a guy on who knows it more than anybody and has thrived and done incredibly well. I was a little intimidated, but he's a great guy, easy to talk to, but he was one of the guests that I was very nervous to have on.
Yeah, no, I was too. And it's interesting. I kind of feel that way every time we have a leader on, like Frankie and I were telling a lot of stories over the last month or two about John Cooper. And John Cooper, I view, as just an incredible leader of people. And I've told the story before of like Coop doesn't have, if anything, he's got more of a lacrosse or more of like a legal lawyer type pedigree in his background than he does hockey. The guy could barely skate. I'd say that to his face. When I played with him for the whole year, he was the worst skater on the ice by 10x, and we were all like 18 years old. But he's a leader of men. Like, people want to go to war. He's a leader of men and women and everyone in between in that organization at the Tampa Bay Lightning. They would go to war for him. But we talk, as a kind of a Barstool sports, we do sports quite a bit. And when the coaching carousel comes up, whether it's the NFL, when the Lane Kiffin thing was going on, and we were all talking about, LSU, but Ole Miss is great. And like those organizations, those colleges, those entire institutions putting all of their chips on somebody in particular's table and just hoping that they know what they're doing. And in this case, it's times a lot, because like I said, it's an incredibly public company. If you come out with equipment one year that's just not getting it done, that's going to be very, very public, because the biggest names in the world of golf, like, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword where it's like, yeah, and we talk a lot about this, but it's, they've got Scotty, they've got Rory, they've got Tommy. That is number one, number two, number three players on planet Earth. They also have Tiger Woods. They've got Colin Morikawa. They've got Nelly Korda. They've got all these incredible athletes. And so it's awesome when they're winning with all the equipment, but I'm sure, and we've talked with this about Adrian quite a bit, where it's like, when it's not necessarily going exactly that way too, they've still got TaylorMade on their head. They've still got the TaylorMade equipment.
Yep.
And like, you gotta figure out, navigate all of that. And, when you're a leader like that, which is why it's so cool to talk to him, you kind of learn, like, we have done it on a very, very, very much smaller scale. We have less than 10 people in our whole operation here at Fore Play. We also learned that a big part of it is managing people, right? Where it's like, when you got into the job, we didn't get into podcasting and then coming out with YouTube videos and then doing social media videos, ever thinking that like the way that we run our business is going to incredibly impact a handful of other people. Ryan Richardson on here, Brendan Jones,
right?
Kyle, Jared, like Rob, all of our people. Like, the way that we run our day-to-day business affects those guys' lives dramatically. And like, now if you extrapolate that out to David, and like, he's got thousands of people that the way that he runs the company will affect their lives professionally, which bleeds into their personal lives. And he's so good at it, man. Like, he's so good at it. And hearing him talk about it and how much passion he has for every person that works at TaylorMade, it was just really cool talking to him. And I'm with you, Trent. That was like, I got kind of the heebie-jeebies. I got like a little nervous of like, don't say the wrong thing. Don't be a moron. like don't mispronounce his last name. You're like really on here trying to get it right.
Big time. Yeah, I could talk to Tommy Fleetwood for an hour. David Abeles, I was like, oh my God. It was, but it's a great interview. I think people are really going to like it.
Yeah, and I definitely want to have him back on. I think he should be like a constant figure on this show, because I mean, we are partnered with TaylorMade, and to be able to get access to that is just that insight and that his viewpoint of the game of golf, and like, where is golf going to go? Like, I'd love to keep having him on to be like, all right, like, what's next? Like, what's the future look like? It's so cool to me to be able to have someone like that on the show to give us his perspective.
Yeah,
it was really good. So I think people are going to love it. So again, that's kind of the meat of the show. And there's a lot in there, from working with the best athletes to, research and development, engineering on the products, getting into design and creativity and all of it. So people are going to really enjoy that. We very much appreciate him coming on, and TaylorMade's been just an elite partner for us for, over half a decade now. So we love them very much. New videos out, came out yesterday. We've got Frankie and Trent. You guys are up in New York. It's like 1 degree right now, I believe. But last week for the PGA show, you guys were able to get down to Orlando with Francis and Lil Sass. And I believe, I was talking with Brendan afterwards. I was like, how'd the shoot go? He was like, those two in a cart are just hilarious the entire time. So make sure people check out the new video on the Foreplay YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm actually texting Brendan. I'm like, is that video coming? That's coming out today as we're recording that, right?
I believe that's coming out as we're recording. So folks listening, it was out yesterday. So make sure you go scope it out.
Just a phenomenal crew. I mean, Lil Sass and Francis are on a great rise in the comedy game right now. I mean, Francis is selling out theaters in Boston. Next year he's going to do the Wilbur. It's like watching him do. I went and watched him perform at Joe Rogan's theater in his comedy club in Austin, and it's just like, it's so cool to watch, like, where they started and then like now where they're at. And Francis is on tires, and Lil Sass now doing huge shows in the comedy world as well, and he's just so funny and so dry, and his sense of humor to me is just like right up my alley. And I just think like getting them on the golf course is such a different view of them. If you're a fan of Son of a Boy Dad, you've been watching them and you're a fan of their stand-up, to see them competing together, like, and that dynamic between Francis and Sass on the show carries over into this match, where he's like shepherding him into the game of golf and trying to get him to get back to his high school golf ways. And it's a very, very funny dynamic, and it's a great match. It's a phenomenal match.
Yeah.
So make sure you go check that out. Go like and subscribe, leave a comment under there. Let them know that you want to see more of it, because we want to make that a thing that we do pretty often this year, is get those guys back on the golf course. So please enjoy that and let us know what you think.
Scope it out. Make sure you check it out. Put a lot of work into that channel on there. Those guys are hilarious. They've been killing it in the comedy scene. So excited to watch the whole thing myself. A couple talking points in the old world of golf before we throw it to David. Brooks Koepka, of course, is returning this week. It's been all over the golf world. He did his press conference. Just a couple little takeaways from me. Number one, I enjoyed that he was like, I'm more nervous this week than I am on a typical week. He said mainly the main reason was for the interview. It was for the press conference. He was like, just this stuff is a lot. I imagine when you've been, it's interesting because on our side, he's pretty universally beloved right now. I think his popularity is through the roof right now. But I imagine from his side, I was thinking that like probably the thing that you see or that you focus on are anything negative, maybe like the Wyndham Clark comments or a couple comments on social. So, and then the things that he's seen for the last 4 years, if you take yourself back 4 years, it was like pretty scathing stuff that everybody was saying about people who were going to live. So even though he seems incredibly popular right now, almost universally loved right now to us, I imagine those nerves come from him having quite a bit of that negative stuff that was said still stuck in his brain right there, coming off a very hard year with family stuff, and then sort of being the center of attention, not for golf-related things, but for doing a press conference where everybody kind of wants to hear what you have to say, having jump ship and then return to the ship. So I just thought it was cool that he was pretty transparent and like a little vulnerable about how his feelings were right now for sort of the like macho guy. I'm a little bit too cool for golf sometimes, Brooks Koepka. I kind of enjoyed that element of it.
Yeah, right into the lion's den. I mean, that's not an easy place to be. Everyone's been kind of
No.
taking shots at you for years, and you just got to own it. The one reporter that was like jumping down his throat, like, who the fuck was that guy? Sorry for the language. I know I've been trying to keep that under wraps, but like,
I think you're doing a good job.
Who was that guy? Like, why did you start so confrontational? I had this issue with a Delta representative last night. I'm like trying to book a flight to my buddy's wedding in Rome, and the woman answered the phone and she was angry off the start. She's like, "Where's the origin of the place you're flying to and where?" And I'm like, "Oh, September 13th." No, don't tell me the date. Don't tell me the date. She said. I said at one point, "What's happening right now?" Like, so this guy is asking Brooks Koepka, "Can we play the audio?" Like, mad at Brooks Koepka prior to Brooks even he dropped the word "buddy" on him. We got to listen to this audio. It's absolutely preposterous.
And then lastly, your record in the majors the last couple of years has not been all that great, and it made me wonder.
Thanks for pointing it out.
Well, it's right there in black and white, buddy.
Yeah, I know. Don't I know it?
You're the one that shoots it.
What the fuck are we doing, dude? I mean,
dude. And like Brooks is kind of playing along. Brooks is not being confrontational. Brooks is like makes a joke like, "Oh, thanks for pointing it out," which is funny and like because it is like, "Hey man, you're kind of attacking me here a little bit, but we can joke about it." And then he says, "Oh, it's right there in black and white, buddy. You're the one who puts up the scores." It's like, holy shit, dude. Relax.
I believe that's
fight?
Doug Ferguson.
I don't know.
That's our guy, Doug Ferguson. Oh, yeah. That was definitely Doug Ferguson, who's like the AP guy. He's always got the Hawaiian shirts on. So I don't want to like, I could be wrong about this, but I believe he's so familiar with everybody out there that was a little bit like in jest between him and Brooks.
Okay.
Well,
That's a very familiar, that might be the most familiar golf journo little like click face that there is out there.
Dude, we've been to now, luckily, a lot of golf tournaments. We've gotten credentials and all that. The one guy who's at every single tournament is Doug Ferguson.
He's the AP guy too. He asks like he'll ask 7 questions, like that one where he was like, and lastly, I could think that was a string of 3 questions that he asked in a row because he is literally the guy that just needs quotes. Like he flies out to every event. He's got the little sitting stick. You know what I mean? Have you seen him with that thing?
I have.
Yep. It doesn't even have it doesn't have like 4 legs like a chair. It's got 1 leg with the comfortable seat on top, and he just carries it around, sits with his little Hawaiian shirt. And his whole job every week is basically to get quotes that he could put into like a 3 to 4 paragraph article on AP with absolutely zero subjectiveness, all just like matter of fact, this is what was said. So he just sort of pokes and doesn't give a fuck until somebody says something interesting. And then he's like, I did it. I had a great week.
All right. Well, we didn't mean to out of context Doug Ferguson, but if you watch that as just like a guy,
that's still a ridiculous interaction. That's a ridiculous interaction.
It's a ridiculous interaction. I mean, like, they can have their history and like he could have his style, but like dropping the buddy and being like, "You're the one that shoots it." It's like, all right, brother, why don't you take a chill pill?
It also came out of nowhere. It was like a pretty cordial interview the whole time.
Yeah.
Like press conference the whole time. And then he was like, "You're the one that shoots it." You're like, whoa, relax.
Of course. Like, I mean, like, we're all up. Like, everyone that you talk to is the one that shoots. Like, why? Like, of course. What are you, dumb? I would have lost my mind if I was Brooks there. But yeah, it's great to have him back. Obviously, this is all the stuff that we've been saying. That like having the biggest, best players on one tour just makes it way better for the fans and the viewers. There's so many different storylines that go into each guy. This happens to be Brooks Koepka's one, and it's great for golf. So, I mean, it's going to be a great weekend watching him play. Hopefully, he plays well. I know I'm going to be tuning. I'm going to be tuning in, and it's just good for the PGA Tour having him back in the mix.
I do think people are probably surprised, and like even live guys are probably surprised that it was as cordial as it was. Like, I think if you had mapped this out in your head of a guy jumping to live and then a guy jumping back to the PGA Tour, the first one, people would have been slinging arrows at him. But it's been largely very friendly and like, yeah, welcome back. We're excited to have you. This is going to be great. I don't think a couple years ago, if you had played out the scenario, would have gone down that way whatsoever. But the path back, you know, if you won the majors in that window of time that they laid out, it's a pretty easy road back, it seems like.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think Brooks is just pretty liked, and I think the 5 majors and just being the big game hunter guy earns a lot of just respect, you know, like no matter what, it's sort of like, you're the dog, you can kind of do whatever you want. You know, we know you took quite the haircut coming back to the tour with how much you're going to lose. You know, he didn't by any accounts He didn't push back. He didn't negotiate. They were like, here's what we think for the punishment for you to return. He was like, okay, great. I just want to return. And then the big nugget that everybody was talking about was that he said his first phone call when he found out he was released, he just called Tiger Woods. He's just like, I didn't know really who else to talk to or who to call. I thought the most comfortable phone call was Tiger Woods. So I literally just picked up the phone and I called Tiger Woods and I said, hello, Tiger Woods. This is Brooks Koepka. I just got released from Live. What do you think I do now? And he said he and Tiger talked for a while. I thought that was awesome. I just thought that was really cool.
Just shows you who's the power broker, who's the number one dog. Doesn't matter titles. I know he mentioned Roll App and he doesn't really know him that well. And he said his next phone call is maybe going to be Jay Monahan. So that you're looking at the pecking order of golf power brokers, and Tiger is still number one. Not teeing it up all that often, not playing very well, but he's still the figurehead of the PGA Tour, and you got to pay the piper. You got to call him and be like, hey, man, I'm back. I the way he phrased it, he almost didn't even know why he was calling. He was like, I just felt like the call to Tiger Woods was the right one. And he's right. Like, you call Tiger, you're getting on his good side. They've been, not that he was on his bad side, but they've been friendly over the years, but you call that guy, I'm back on tour, and all the doors start opening. It's a great thing.
Oddly reminiscent of my own situation when we were like signing our new contracts with Barstool as a group of foreplay. We're essentially negotiating with Dave, and I called Dave to ask him what he thought the best stuff for me would be. And he's the one on the other side of the negotiation table, which is essentially what Brooks was doing with Tiger, right? Where he's like, you tell me what the best for, I trust you, and we are so close, and we are on a level of respect with each other that like, I know you'll do right by me. Yeah. So like, you let me know what the right path to success here is. And that's what I did. And we all did with Dave, where it's like, Dave, I know that like this probably with other people sometimes will go a little bit more like, hey, you talk to this guy, agents, whatever. I'm like, you let me know, like, you're basically my second father figure. Like, you let me know what's the best for Frankie Borelli, and I'm just going to do it. And that's what Brooks did with Tiger. And Tiger deserves that respect. Tiger is the kind of guy that's going to look after for his peers. He's going to look after for his friends. And he also is going to look after for the best interest in the PGA Tour. He's been very firm and stern on his viewpoint on where the tour needs to go. He has been shepherding. I'm using that word a lot. He's been shepherding the PGA Tour into a new world where he's trying to get more eyeballs on it. He understands that it can't stay stagnant, and he's going to do right by the people that he likes. So I think he's doing a great job. I think that we all agree that the way that they got Brooks Koepka in was the right decision. They definitely gave him more than a slap on the wrist financially, and all the things he has to do this year. He has to grind, and he has to build the tour back up, which then brings everyone else. Rising tides rises all ships, the whole entire deal. I'm very, very excited that this whole entire thing got figured out, and I think Tiger was the perfect person to call. He was always going to get it done. Always.
Shout out to Nelly Korda. Nelly Korda with some great comments. I love just the honesty. We're huge Nelly Korda fans. She's my teammate in a lot of these videos we do every year down at TaylorMade. We have an awesome time in the cart. She's just got one of the most aesthetically pleasing swings. She's put herself out there over the last 3 or 4 years. She's been number 1 or number 2 in the world. We talk about that with David Abeles a little bit, actually. But, she was asked about the WTGL situation. And she said, I have mixed feelings on it. If I'm being very honest, I'm surprised no other girls have, or no one's really spoken out about it. I would just comment that we did. We had the same take as well on our podcast, but I get that she probably doesn't watch or listen to every single podcast that we do. She said, I think it's a huge and unbelievable miss that we're not playing alongside the men. There's no greater way to grow the game, and it would have been revolutionary. It would have been the first time, I think, that men and women are on the same playing field, playing for the same exact amount of money. But I also think it's great that we are getting this opportunity. So that's my mixed feelings. I just really appreciate that honesty. I appreciate her, because I think that was probably the knee-jerk reaction from most people when they heard the news of like, oh, very cool, good for the women's game, kind of crazy they're not just partnering up with the men, because this seems like an unbelievable opportunity. The only distance involved is like a 20-yard walk from the simulator shot over to the rotating green. So why couldn't they just play men and women? Nobody else really from like that sphere, again, we said it, from that sphere, made that point, despite the fact that everybody was kind of thinking it. So I really appreciate her using her platform when asked about the question, just being like, yeah, I think it's kind of a huge miss. Just love to hear that out of Nelly.
Yeah, and the other takeaway from the original WTGL announcement was, why is Nelly Korda not involved? That would be a no-brainer. And now I think we know why. She's just a little confused on why they wouldn't just combine the men and the women. And for TGL, I think they might have just overthought it. Like they were like, should we combine it, or should we make a separate league for the women, and maybe you try to pull in different audiences from each league. But I think the common sense would have been just throw them together, get these personalities on camera together, clashing. It's good for everybody. You're all just watching the same league. It's all clean. Having one league would have been so clean, where it's like, okay, now the women are involved, and they're always adding and subtracting people from these teams anyway. So it wouldn't have been a huge shock if it was like, oh, now we got to add this whole other element. They're signing free agents and letting people go, and there's people have conflict of interest in terms of travel and all that. So adding the women to it would have been really easy, and I think that's Nelly's whole point, and I think a lot of people agree with her.
What's funny at the end of the statement, it was like, well, she was like, it should have been mixed, and it should have been this whole thing. And then at the end, it's like, well, I really don't know if I want to do the time commitment. I'm still seeing if my schedule works for that, which is like, that's what all these guys essentially, that's their situation with the TGL, where it's like, you're traveling the whole entire world. You're traveling the country, playing golf every single week. You got to get to Jupiter on Tuesdays or whatever it might be. It's a lot for them. I mean, it's throwing kind of a wrench in their whole entire already ridiculous travel year, but that's probably just the game she's playing to try and hold out.
A little negotiation tactic, nice little negotiation tactic. That's like sort of, yeah.
I mean, would you guys be stunned if they reverse now, like the whole plan, and they end up just combining them? Do you think that she has enough pull to kind of push it towards that decision to?
Well, here's what I would say is that pretty much every team has at least one or two players out of their three every night that aren't like household names anyways. Right, so it's like, so it's not like you got to make this big call of, should we go with like, are we going to drop Colin Morikawa and get Nelly Korda in there? It's like a lot of the teams, no offense to any players, but like there's only, as we've talked about, 7 to 10 guys in the world of golf that really kind of get people moving. And even that might be generous, especially if you start dropping out. Bryson's not involved. DJ's not involved, Rom's not involved. So like,
Gotti.
I guess it would be pretty easy is what I'm saying from my standpoint to just be like, yeah, no, we're going to like sub in, 6 or 8 of these women are going to play on one. Each one's going to play on one team. I think it's easier than probably people would even think.
I guess to answer your question, Frankie, they should. Will they? I don't know. That takes you have to eat crow. You got to say, we had this big rollout and we made a mistake, and Nelly made a good point, and we're now just gonna throw everybody together. That's what they should do. And a lot of people, their pride is at stake. They'll have to admit a mistake, but they should
get Roll-Up in there, dude. Roll-Up will figure that shit out in 2 seconds.
Done.
Mm-hmm. Done. Get him. The guy makes the calls.
Do you think they will, Frankie?
No, I don't think so. I think they've already announced they have the logo. It's like, that's a lot. This had to have come across their mind. I would have to think whenever a big decision like this comes out, it's like, and we're all like, how did they not think of this? Like, they had to have thought of that.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Do you think their mindset might have been that it's like almost disrespectful to women to be like, oh, we'll just have you latch on to one of the men's teams, and that it was almost like more of a statement in favor of the women's game to be like, you got your own WTGL?
Maybe. I mean, not to sound like a lib, but like they should have talked to the women. They should have like asked them to like what do you guys want to do? I mean, just fucking talk to Nelly Korda. She had the idea. Like, she's like, I would love.
That's what they should have done, because that was
just talk to the best women's players who you're trying to build the league around. Be like, hey, what do you guys want to do? And they'd be like, we want to mix it with the guys and make the same money they are. And they'd be like, oh, it's a fucking great idea. Instead, you had a bunch of freaking idiotic decisions being made where they're like, we're going to start our own WTGL. This is going to be great for the game. They're going to be like on prime time and everyone's going to watch them. And the own players are like, God, I'd rather not do that.
If we're talking about who to call in these situations, Brooks calls Tiger. If it's women's game, if it's the women's game of golf, you should probably call Nelly and get her thoughts, as opposed to making a decision without it, rolling it out, and then having her publicly say, I don't like this idea.
Would have been a great decision. Just like, God, would have been great. But hey, you never know. I mean, listen,
get Roll-Up in there.
Look what's happened with Live and PGA Tour. All these big decisions, things start to get jumbled all over the place. Players start going one way, they go the next way. Things could change.
Did you guys see this video of Rory McIlroy mocking Patrick Cantlay's foot shuffle pre-shot routine from the Ryder Cup?
That was good. I can't believe that took this long to get out.
I can't
Same.
believe that either. I guess is sort of a mess of content out there. I thought it must have been AI at first because it took so long, where I was like, this would have come out the week of. I was very surprised.
How does that not come out the day of? And it fuels like the Ryder. That would have been a lead story.
And I will say, in talking to people associated with Team USA, like Rory isn't just this completely innocent, the prince of golf in this whole thing when it comes down to all the Ryder Cup stuff. I know we've hinted at it times before, but I think this really does showcase it as well of like, no, was it worthy of the worst of like the bottom 2% of fans going way over the line, saying what they said? Nope, that's still off limits no matter what. Both things could be true. But also, Rory McIlroy isn't the most innocent man in all of this. If during the event, we saw he's walking around, he was flipping people off, he was telling people to fuck off. And then there must have been dozens of these. This is like the only one we've seen, and it came out 5 months later or whatever it is. He's doing this kind of stuff throughout the entire week to agitate people, to lead people on, to piss off the gallery, to piss off Team USA, which is fine, by the way.
Yeah, it's
totally
great.
fine.
Yeah.
I have no issue with this. The only thing I potentially have issue with is if it's like one guy gets painted as having done nothing to agitate anyone ever, and people are just being mean to him, versus like, well, actually, it's all the needle's kind of all closer to the middle than maybe we were led on.
You also do that to Patrick Cantlay. You're drawing your line in the sand. Like, you're never going to be able to be boys with Patrick Cantlay ever again. Making fun of him like that so plainly in front of everyone at the Ryder Cup. That's the guy. That's the prince of the PGA Tour, just absolutely just destroying you, making fun of you, and clearly hates playing with you publicly telling people that he hates your setup. He hates your process. He hates how long it takes for you to hit a golf ball. Publicly telling everyone at Bethpage Black that you hate that.
Team Europe just watches Patrick Cantlay and decides that he's going to be the guy that is like the that's going to spark controversy. I mean, it was the hat thing at the last one, and now it's we're 2 months out from the Ryder Cup now, but that would have been Patrick Cantlay just pisses off Team Europe. It seems like
it's crazy that we haven't gotten Patrick Cantlay in a video. We've been surrounding his team forever, and that his guys, his agent, they got Joey LaCava on his bag. They're all like, yeah, Pat would love it. Like, we need to get his story out there more. Like, he is.
I told you I DM'd him one time.
Well, what's the word I'm looking for?
Misunderstood?
He's misunderstood.
There you go.
I was going to say misrepresented, but that's incorrect. He's misunderstood, according to his team, that he'd be great on camera. He'd be a great he'd be chirping people. He'd be getting into the game. He'd be very, very, into the, the strategy and talking through how he hits golf shots. Like, he'd be very an open book. We got to get him on. Like, I just think that this guy's getting shafted a little bit. I really do. We're always ragging on him. Media's always ragging on him. Rory's ragging on him. I would love to be the brand.
He's a very rag-onable guy. He's a very rag-onable guy. But also, he has been the guy for Team USA Ryder Cup for several.
He's an ATM machine.
He's fun. He almost won in Pinehurst. Remember that? He lost by like 2 strokes at Pinehurst. He was in the last group with Rory at Pinehurst. So like, he's been right there. I think he's a bit of a recluse when it comes to this stuff. The other interesting part about the Rory thing is like Patrick Cantlay on the player advisory front is like the guy. I mean, he's like, I think he kind of grabs the bull by the horns behind the scenes in terms of like the player representation on the big decisions for the tour. So like, that ain't just that ain't like a nobody out there that Rory's kind of making fun of. And I think that's probably part of the reason he's making fun of him too, is that he's been tough. He's been tough to beat. He's played incredibly well in a couple of USA teams that have not played well overall. And like, I think Rory, they kind of like respect that and want to dig him, versus if you're just digging like Russell Henley out there, that's kind of fucked up. That's like, totally. that's real fucked up.
Just amazing that video sat on somebody's phone for 3 months. And now we see it.
Dude, that's like my dad's phone. My dad at a wedding, anywhere he goes, at my house when he's seeing Frankie Boy, 1,000 videos and photos. I'm like, when do you have time to even look through those? He goes, I sit on my couch after a couple weeks, I go through them. That's exactly what happened. Someone at Bethpage took this video, like, oh, look at this one, I'm just gonna watch that. Oh, wow. Sends it to his son. The son's like, this is viral.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is making every snap, every drive, every moment a Super Bowl 60 count with DraftKings Live Millions, featuring over $5 million in prizes just for betting live. Once again, let me say that again. Featuring over $5 million in prizes just for betting live. Here's how simple it is. Head to DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and receive a promo token. Place a live bet of $1 or more on the Super Bowl, and you're automatically entered. That is it. Every live bet means another chance to win. You place a live bet, stack your entries. This Super Bowl 60, again, there's over $5 million in prizes, and DraftKings is just the best. You want to get involved. You want to have skin in the game. Nobody does it better than the DraftKings Sportsbook app.
Football's winding down a little bit, college football, NFL, but there's still hockey, there's still basketball. You go on the app, you can still find plenty of things to get a little skin in the game, and it's always more enjoyable when you throw a little something on a game, and DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to do it.
I'll be going to the New York Islanders game tonight. I'll have my DraftKings Sportsbook locked and loaded. They're playing the Rangers, so it should be an absolute fun battle. They're the worst team in the conference, so if we lose, I get to throw at them, this is
nice.
Your Stanley Cup. I've always wanted to do that. The Islanders have never really been this far ahead of the Rangers in the standings, and they've always been the little brother thing. They've always done the little brother thing to us. So, and every time we've won, they'd be like, "Enjoy, raise your banner tonight." I can't wait for that.
You're gonna do the banner tweet.
But if we win, like it's just like just the lurch, like forget about it. Like when you're in this position, there's no, it's a win-win. Like it does just forget, so I'm very excited for that. But what I've been doing is these shots on goal parlays. I absolutely love it. I sit in my seat, I watch these games. I bet Anders Lee for 2 shots on goal, Bo Horvath for 2 shots on goal, and Matthew Shea for 2 shots on goal. And every time they get one on that goalie, it's just a little fist bump in the stands. I'm just like, come on, puck's on net, fella. It really gets you going. And you start to watch the game in a heightened sense than everyone around you. You're watching for tips. You're watching for shots that are shot from the blue line. Did it get through? Did it deflect off someone? Now you're really into the game because you got a little coin on a shots on goal bet. DraftKings Sportsbook just gets you involved, man. It really does.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use our code, which is FORE. That is FORE. FORE. Bet live for your share of $5 million in prizes with our code FORE in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. All right, that's it for the golf talk. We do have a great little post-show, after-show list of things to talk about. But before that, we want to throw it to this interview that we kind of teased off the top, talked about a lot. Awesome chat. So without further ado, here is the CEO of TaylorMade, David Abeles. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening, as always. And we are joined by a very special guest today, someone that we've spent a decent amount of time with, actually, but has never been on the show. So joining us for the very first time here on the podcast, the CEO of TaylorMade, David Abeles. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Riggs, thanks. Frankie, Trent. I've been waiting for this invite for a long time.
Whoa.
So we're going to make this a very useful podcast for sure. I'm a big fan of you guys, as you know, and grateful for all you do with and for TaylorMade. So thrilled to be on the show today. Thank you, guys.
No, thank you. And I know, look, we started this almost exactly 9 years ago is when we started doing this podcast. I myself, Frankie, Trent, we're the biggest golf nuts in the world. So if you had told me nine years and 1 day ago that at any point we would have TaylorMade working with us and I would have folks that I could shoot a text message to and they would send me a new 7-wood or, a different degree driver head, I would have been like, here are the keys. Here's my email. You do whatever you want with my life. This is the coolest thing in the world. And so now that we're here several years deep in with you guys, I really do think as a golf nut, as guys that have, kind of grown up and spent the last 20 years of our lives being enormous, pretty much weekend golfers that just go out there and never know if you're going to shoot, 95 or maybe get lucky and shoot 75 to have a partnership that has been as good as this is with a company like you guys has been, probably the coolest thing in my life, to be honest with you.
Well, thanks for the compliments. It's awfully kind. The feelings are mutual. Like if you told me 9 years ago that I'd be on this podcast with you 3 superstars, I'd be pretty excited too. And if you can find me the guy that's sending you those 7-woods or new driver lofts, I've been here for 22 years. I'm still trying to find that guy.
It is the coolest perk in the world. Mike Essie, Will Stevenson, they've been so awesome for us. I want to start with you here on currently the top three ranked players in the world for playing golf are TaylorMade athletes. We've got Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, and Tommy Fleetwood, and then probably also, who's not top three currently, but maybe the best player to ever touch a golf club, Tiger Woods, all TaylorMade athletes. How important is that, and what does that mean to you guys as a company?
Yeah, it's a great question. I've been fortunate, gents, to be in my role here as the CEO of the company now. I'm coming into my 12th year next year, but sorry, so I'm finishing up 11 into 12. And when we started this journey, we built a new management team here back in 2015, and we took a very, very honest look at our company, the things that we had done well historically, the things that we wanted to improve upon, but more importantly, when we thought 5 and 10 years out, how do we want to represent this brand, our products, and through our athletes to the world of golf, domestically and internationally? What is that going to look like? And at the time, we were executing a strategy where we essentially said, if we could have most of the best players by count playing TaylorMade drivers, then that would be a wonderful position for us. So then we can make some claims in our advertising that more players play us than others. And I ducked out of golf for 2 years and spent a lot of time walking up and down the practice tee at my club and speaking with golfers, and realized that account strategy per se as a sports marketing approach was effective, but it really wasn't resonating in the way that we thought it was internally. And so when we came back, we started to challenge orthodoxies. That's what we do here at TaylorMade, right? We're an innovative company, a true innovative, creative company that every day comes to work thinking about how can we do things differently? How can we do things better? And how can we get closer to what avid core and recreational golfers would expect from a company like ours? And one of those discussions was our tour play and our tour associations. And I'll never forget it. We were at a club down the street here in San Diego called The Farms, having this offsite talking about our sports marketing strategy. And one of our superstar marketers said, gosh, can you only imagine a scenario where our brand was represented by the absolute very best athletes in the world? And it's not that other athletes don't matter, but those athletes would build bigger audiences, and we would have more presence, and they would be certainly more present in the world of golf because of their performance. And if we were to think about our brand that way, we think we'd be even more relevant in front of more golfers and be able to share our stories, our messages, our technologies, our relationships, and our love for this game in a way that we can't do it right now. And so we said, okay, well, let's unpack that a little bit. And what came out of that was really a modern strategy saying, let's start to identify and associate with the very, very best in the world. And thankfully, we have, as you gents know, a world-class sports marketing team. I mean, superstars that have relational depth with these athletes that start when they're 10, 11, 12 years old, AJGA players, junior golfers, into collegiate golf. We live and breathe golf. We're an authentic golf company. We love this game. And we do that with those players, those young juniors and their families. And then all of a sudden you start to implement this approach, which is, let's make sure we use data science. Let's make sure we synthesize sports marketing analytics. Let's make sure we're very, very clear and intentional about identifying who we believe will be the next generation of great players and do the work with them so that they get comfortable with our brand. And so that started literally a decade ago. Not that we didn't have great players at the time, Sergio Garcia, Justin Rose, Dustin Johnson, I mean, superstars. But here we have evolved with all of the science and all the relational work that we're doing. And importantly, the investment we make in product technology so that the world's best players, when they have a choice to play any product, these guys can play anything they want whenever they want, that they lean in and say, TaylorMade's the best solution for me. We're seeing that happening right now with QI4D and spades. But here we are. It's the beginning of 2026. We've had a very fast start in the first 26, 27 days of the year. And our superstars are 1, 2, 3 in the world. We have Nelly Korda on the women's side, who's 1, 2 given on the week. Colin Morikawa, who's another superstar, one of the great players, great personality, great people in golf. But to look, and watch last week with Scotty winning again in the desert was incredible. Tommy and Rory getting their season started over in Dubai. We live with these athletes. They're part of us. This isn't an endorsement relationship, and it's not just a partnership. It is a deep friendship, a family orientation of what we do with our athletes. And we will do everything we possibly can to help them win major championships and win golf tournaments. And so it's very flattering. It's humbling, to be honest with you, Riggs. I'm not so sure I've tried to look back, and our historians have tried to look back. I'm not so sure any major brand in the modern era has had 1, 2, 3 in the world. So we're enjoying it. We're celebrating it. We're talking about it. And, we're hopeful that we can get 1, 2, 3, and 4 eventually here as well.
We talk about this all the time on the show. One of the things that can't be taken lightly is the fact that these guys can decide on whatever golf club they want to use because they are the greatest in the world. And the difference between using one club over another is the difference between them being the best in the world or not. So they take this extremely seriously. And the thing that cannot be overstated is people don't realize how important the people behind your company are to these players. We talk about Adrian. We talk about all of these fitters, all of the people that make these players feel comfortable. Like, that is why they are signing with TaylorMade. It's because you guys are like a people first company. It's the technology and all that is always going to be the best. But like, we are idiots. We're morons. We shouldn't even be in the position we are. And you guys still treat us like we are on tour, like the way that the communication, the seriousness around like the smallest little questions that they take, every single question that we give them, that's what sells these players on TaylorMade. And it's like, that's the juice, that's the magic. And I don't know that any other company can replicate that because it's in the people, it's the personalities. And that has blown me away. It is from top to bottom, the best people in the industry.
Well, Frankie, I can thank you, gents, for what you do for golf and how you bring new forms and new discussions in golf forward and have for the past 9 years. But your comments that you just made mean the most to me because we invest more in our people than we do anything else in our business. And believe me, we have 125 aerospace engineers right below me here that are working on advanced technology to make sure we can bring the best performing products in the world to golfers. But we have always started with people here. The culture is unique. You guys have been to our offices. When you walk out of our world headquarters in our lobby, there are 3 words above the door. We are golfers. And quite frankly, it doesn't matter what your skill level is, right? Or what your walk of life is. When you're of this game and into this game, you're part of this community. And we love you for it. I love you for it. And every one of us, golf isn't just our professional approach to what we do or our workplace environment every day. It's part of our lives. We live it. We raise our families through it. We engage with it. And when you think about what's happening on tour and the relationships and the authenticity of that notion that we are all golfers, you mentioned Adrian, whether it's Adrian Rietveld or it's Keith Sabarbro or Eddie Erkmanis or Ryan Ress or James Holly. I mean, getting spiders in play in every corner of the world because of how well that product works and what's happening. It's very, very special to us. And we have 2,400 amazing TaylorMade associates around the world. But I've got to tell you, guys, and I get asked this all the time, like, what are you most proud of? And typically, most reporters and analysts are waiting for me to say, here's the latest technology. Here's the breakthroughs we've made over the past 46 years. Our birthright in metalwoods evolving into QI4D, which is unequivocally the finest driver technology we've ever launched. And all the different generations of technology that have become commonplace, even with our competitors over time. That's not the answer. The answer, what we're most proud of here, is the culture we keep. It's our people. It's our desire to continue to drive and go further and ideate and create and try new things, knowing that it doesn't all work all the time. And so you think about the disposition of a human being that's willing to take on risk, knowing that the outcome may not be the one you want, but that's true innovation. And it's pretty interesting. We kind of have a chuckle internally at times because there's so many companies in golf that are using innovation as a buzzword. Innovation has nothing to do with a buzzword. The innovation is the cultural DNA in the way of life that you have to lead and run and live in your organization to do the things we're capable of doing. And it takes a lot of guts. It's not an easy thing to do. And I'm very, very proud that we have built a culture of innovation here that cares deeply about prioritizing golfers and what we think is in their best interest or what they have communicated to us to be in their best interest, which in many regards with us starts with product.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, that focus on golfers, right? We are golfers, and Mike Barbuti, who's probably one of our favorite people we've ever come across in the history of the world. If you don't like Barbuti, then you probably don't like many people because he's one of the funniest, most genuine people I've ever met. And he is so obsessed with golf that, yes, like you said, we have this partnership, our company and your guys', and it's been great. But day in and day out, he and I just text about golf courses, about golf equipment, about customization. He custom made me my set of irons, which every single person I've ever seen pulls them out of the bag and checks them out. And he just wants to know about that. And one thing that I love talking to him about is sort of this focus and commitment and really kind of innovation, if you will, into design and creativity around golf. Because like you said, you've been there for over a decade now, and there is not a single equipment company or nearly any company in the world of golf that I think does the creativity and customization around golf like you guys do. From the bags, when the U.S. Open was hosted at Pinehurst in 2024, a year and a half beforehand, I had an hour-long consultation call with the designers from TaylorMade, and they were just asking me about Pinehurst. They wanted to know at the Pinecrest Inn where people chip into the fireplace. They wanted to know the design of the carpet in that hotel, and if I had any pictures of that hotel bar room, because they were maybe going to make the lining on the top of the bag the same as the carpet from the bar room that people chip into the fireplace. Every time 4th of July rolls around, I get an unbelievably cool new set of head covers that have fireworks on them. And so my question sort of is, at what point did you guys sort of realize, and how did you commit to this incredibly kind of this hole in golfers that you knew people wanted to fill with all of this cool creative design?
Great question. And I share the same sentiments about Michael that you do, right? If you can't like Michael Barbuti, you're having a tough time. And he's a special guy. Quick one on the US Open at Pinehurst, Riggs, when you mentioned what the bags and the head covers look like. I remember a lot about Pinehurst, notably one of our superstars falling a bit short on 18. And it's so incredible to see Rory come back and win at Augusta last year in the career Grand Slam. But you know what? The thing I remember most about Pinehurst is getting a speeding ticket and I was getting a speeding ticket on the way to the golf course on one of the freeways. True story. And I think I was doing about 11 miles over the speed limit, which is kind of borderline for me. Like, come on, 11 miles an hour. You guys got to be kidding me.
Within the range there.
But I realized that the legal due process in the state of North Carolina is if you're an out-of-stater getting a speeding ticket, you actually have to show up in court. So here I am. Hold on a second. I got to fly back to California and come back to North Carolina. Can't I just pay the ticket, which was painful in itself? But I'll never forget that, because fortunately I was able to handle that and have a good do the stuff you needed to do. But I remember a lot of things about that week. But I don't know why I went off on that tangent, guys, but I'm still disappointed.
That's podcasting. That's what it is.
And let me tell you guys something. That's not the last speeding ticket I got either. So I got to get better at that.
David, I want you to get through the rest of this, but I got a speeding ticket going into a Barstool Classic, and we had so much luggage in the back seat of the car. We didn't know that the police officer was following us.
Yeah.
So we pull into the Barstool Classic. There's 200 people waiting to go tee off. And this is in North Carolina or South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. And everyone's staring at me. And I say to Trent, I go, "Oh, man, they're excited to see us. Look at this." And I get out of the car and I start waving my hat. I'm like, "What's up, guys?" And there's a police officer behind me like, "Get back in the vehicle." I'm like, "Whoa." He's like, "I've been following you for 5 miles." And
yeah.
He's like, Are you running? I'm like, "No, you didn't know."
Yeah, Frankie, and what's all that stuff you're hoarding in your back seat, right? I'm sure that was one of the questions too, right?
Bring the dogs out, sniff that car out.
Would you guys get control of your podcast, will you? Here, we're way off tangent now, but
it's okay. That's all right. We do that all the time.
I go back to that same offsite that I referenced around our sports marketing strategy, because behind that was, what type of company do we want to become? The discussion was really about a very authentic company that curates world-class content that is consumed, and the consumption extends beyond our technical precedent in equipment. To be able to, and this has been the working notion at TaylorMade for my 11 years going into 12 in this role, which is, can you imagine if all 48 million golfers here in the United States and 65 plus million golfers around the world had a chance to come inside our building, get to know our people, get to engage with our athletes, get to work with our products, get to see how we live. We are golfers the way we all get to every day. So they get to know who we are, and more importantly than who we are, but like how we are, how we do this, and why it's important to us, because we love this game at our core. We love it at our core. And so that working theory was, okay, how do we create content that extends beyond we make them go further and straighter, because I promise you something, gents, we will continue to make them go further and straighter. That's a product tenet and a performance tenet that lives in this organization, will not change. But how do we bring golfers, all skill levels, all walks of life, every corner of the world, to get to know us a little bit better? The authenticity that we are to this category and to this sport, the love that we have to bring something to market. I've been selling and marketing golf clubs for 30 years in my role, as I mentioned, for just over a decade. There hasn't been a day that's gone by that when I hear about a new technology or I see a new opportunity for us to expand and get better and build something that works better, that I don't get excited to this day. And I've seen a lot of innovation. And so our goal was, how do we start to align with the right people, including you gentlemen and your podcast, your influence, your love for the game, most importantly. Our values are very much aligned. How do we start to curate content that extends beyond these great new products played by these world-class players and shows the world of golf a little bit more about who we are and how we exist? And make no mistake, our mission here at the company is very clear: to be the best performance golf brands in the world. Now, it's not just one. It's not just TaylorMade. It's Sunday Red. Brands, plural now. But why we exist is to help golfers of all skill level enjoy this game and play this game just a little bit better. So everything we do, from content creation to product design and development, is to have a little bit more fun enjoying this game, but importantly, play this game a little bit better. And so that started a decade ago, and I'm very proud of this, guys. We try to express as much humility as we can here, because we're an ambitious, humble group, but we're also proud of the things that we've accomplished. I don't know if you know this, but second only to the PGA Tour, TaylorMade Golf enjoys the largest audience in the world of golf. And in large part because I think we have reached out and said, yes, we are the best performing golf brand in the world, and here's why we exist. But we want to embrace this game with you, not to you, and help you love this and get to see things and be exposed to things that we're very fortunate that we can. It's why we do, tremendous content creation at our Super Shoot. You gents have been part of that. Foreplay's been part of that, right? Where you get a chance to interact with Scotty and Rory and Tommy, and Colin was on the show, and get a chance to speak with them as human beings and golfers, not just world-class athletes that win major championships. And it's really special. And so, credit to our entire marketing department, our CMO and Bob Majori, and certainly Michael Barbuti's efforts here, and Tyler Brett leading the content team, what we've been able to create here. And it's just getting started. We're about to release a long form video on the making of QI4D in just a week or two. And I can tell you guys, knowing you guys well as golfers, when you see this, you're not going to be able to stop watching it. And it's more than just the technology. It's the process and the struggles and the desire and the work and the testing that goes into building something of that type of performance requirement. And so we love it. We love it. And every day we wake up thinking about how we can create it better. And that's how we do it.
Well, I mean, you said the word humility, and but you guys do deserve credit for, everybody has club deals now and every other alternative brand or whatever it may be. But you guys were the first ones to jump in with 2 feet and be like, obviously we want the world-class athletes, and we got them. We got the top 3 in the world, but there is this other aspect of the game. And for you guys to just jump in, and content is a big word now, as much as you are a club company, which is number one, product always, but you guys do have to make content. And for you guys to just fully embrace that largely before everyone else, I just think it's really changed the game. And you mentioned audience, that's a big part of it. If you can have your players, the people under your umbrella, embrace what's going on in terms of YouTube, and we're doing one club challenges with Scotty and Tommy, some companies just aren't doing that. And for you guys to fully embrace that, I think you're seeing the dividends now 10 years later.
Thank you, Trent. I hope we are. I hope we become even more relevant, more connected to more golfers around the world than we are today. And we strive for that every day. And credit to you gentlemen as well. What you've been able to do has been miraculous, right? You bring this beautiful common approach to golf and made it accessible to yet another broader audience. And look what you guys have done. I'm a huge fan. My 3 boys at home, one of them's in school, the other one's going, 2018 and 15. They can't wait for your next drop. They watch all of it, everything of it. They love it because you guys are very, very genuine. You're very authentic, and you're bringing great content, great learnings and engagement to golfers all over the country. It's awesome. It's awesome. And so, it's a journey, right? None of these things that we're talking about are solved overnight, but if you commit to them and you stay fully engaged with them, you can go a lot further. And we will continue to invest behind great content and real content, right? Real, not contrived content, authentic content that is real and honest. One of the things we're working on, and we recognize this as an opportunity for us as modern media was shifting linear media to utilizing influence and broadening your audience and being able to measure that and see if the things that you're doing are resonating and are they effective. One of the things that we continue to learn is that we have a great opportunity not only to build a broader audience, but help that audience understand how we can be of more value to them beyond the form of content. And whether it's through products or services to help them play better, aligned with our mission, core strategies, and why we exist, we're working on that every day. And we think we've got a long way to go beyond just the content we're creating, but into how we can utilize the capabilities of this companies to benefit golfers around the world. And certainly we're going to continue to bring innovative products to market, but we have services now and services platforms that we think ultimately can be customized and personalized for specific golfers so that we wake up 5 years from now and we're interacting with golfers of all skill levels in real time, helping you make adjustments before you tee off based on the data science that we saw how you played yesterday. A lot of really, really cool stuff going on here that we think is going to be even more relevant into the future. And we're firmly committed to it. Last week was the PGA show. And I was back at the PGA show for the first time since 2018. Bringing our Sunday Red brand there. And one of the questions that came up from many members of the media was, what's your viewpoint on the state of golf today? And I can tell you guys unequivocally, having been in the golf industry for almost 3 decades now, golf has never been in a better place than it is right now. And the momentum we're experiencing, if we all stay true to the things that matter most, will continue to compound itself and get better, both here in the United States and around the world. But I caught myself saying, one of the questions was, well, what's changed over the past 20 years? And I'll tell you what hasn't changed is the nucleus of golf is more engaged and more intact than ever before, right? Avid golfers playing with great frequency and great ferocity and love for the sport. But what has changed is the peripheral approach to building new audiences and creating even a broader identity for golf that is accessible and fun and cool and hip. And you see athletes from professional sports leagues outside of golf that are posting on their social channels, why they're playing the game and how much they love it. And it's incredible. And so golf has never been in a better place. And I think all of us as stewards of this games and lovers of this sport need to continue to perpetuate that. And I've always said this, if you can literally knock on your neighbor to the right and to the left, the fastest way to grow it is to ask them to come play with you. Just go do that. And then plug into some great content and be inspired, and off you go, because it's so sticky. But I'm very, very proud of the work that we've done, and importantly, the work our industry has done to create this momentum in our game. And quite frankly, gents, you deserve a lot of the credit for that as well.
Well, I do want you to know that the way that I feel when you guys hand me one of these incredibly beautiful, perfectly engineered new clubs, and then I put a swing on the ball that would make like Bobby Jones roll over in his grave. I want you to know how terrible I feel in those moments. And I want to thank you for the patience in those moments, because boy, it could be, there's golf, as you know, as everybody knows, golf could be the most infuriating thing in the history of the world. And to be sponsored by, a company like you guys, partnered with a company like you guys, and then still kind of be just who we are at our core, which is like, you have amazing days, you have bad days, is always a very funny spot to be in. And you guys have always kind of embraced that. And I kind of wanted to ask you, because it is such an interesting dynamic where we talked a lot off the top about partnering with, sponsoring, having your name on the hat, having the club in the hands of the best players in the world, yet you're trying to sell drivers to the average golfer. You're trying to sell drivers to the masses, to the folks who play golf much more like us. How sort of interesting from your guys' standpoint is that dynamic of trying to relate and showcase how awesome your products can be for, the average handicap golfer, but also, showcasing it at the highest level with Scotty and Rory and Tommy?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it's really a strategic question, Riggs. Like, how do you build a base of business that extends beyond the tip of the pyramid or the tip of the pyramid of influence? Could be influence at the professional level, influence in media,
Right.
influence, and could be influence anywhere. We have always believed implicitly in this concept of the pyramid of influence, right? Which is if the world's very best play it, that ultimately that will inspire others to take a look at it. If the world's very best actually trust their profession and their success to our technology, then why wouldn't you if you're an 18 handicap or if you're playing casually or recreationally? And then the design and production intent, or really product performance intent beyond that, is yes, everything that is in play today on tour can be purchased on our website, and it can absolutely be purchased at retail and get fit at retail. We've got tremendous retail partnerships around the world that are like incredibly competent and custom fitting our product to ensure that it performs best for all player profiles. But when we put a design intent behind a product like QI4D, there's a reason why there's three drivers, right? There's a low spin driver, high launch, low spin for ultra high speed players. There's a core product that provides higher inertia values, more stability without compromising any speed whatsoever. In fact, this one goes even faster with a great degree of adjustability and movable weight technology and flight control technology. And then we make a QI4D Max product, which has a little bit more left bias, a little bit higher inertia for slightly lower ball speed players. So that whole pyramid then gets driven down through the product design and development intent to ensure that we have a product that can perform for players of all skill levels. And so that leverage up top, that influence up top, that awareness up top, then ultimately filters down through the rest of the populace of golf. And we see that every year that we do this effectively. And yeah, we make products that are as difficult to hit as a forged MB, right? Only a few players in the world playing a P7 TW. The greatest of all time right now, the number 3 player in the world, and the number 1 player in the world. But I can't advocate for most of us that playing a P7 TW forged iron is going to be the best approach to improve your game. But P790 might be, our QI iron might be, right? Our QI Max iron might be. And so we build products by particular player segment, but the halo of the brand is built around how do we inspire the world that if the world's very best can play it, that we all can as well. And, one of the major components of our future, and we're leaning in heavily on this, I think in many regards, we're starting to lead here, is the notion of true customization. I mean, real customization in products. And that isn't, hey, I got my loft right, or I got my lie right, but I got my loft and lie right. I got my shaft right. QI4D comes with a shaft matrix that's built around essentially your swing signature. So Riggs, if I said to you or Trent or Frankie, hey, do all of you guys swing the golf club exactly the same way? The answer is absolutely not. Your DNA is completely different. There aren't 2 golf swings that are exactly the same amongst 65 million golfers around the world. So why would you be playing exactly the same specifications to optimize your performance? Well, we built a system beyond these head technologies into a shaft matrix now that ultimately works on essentially your release point in golf. Some players are low release, some are mid release, some are high release based on where that club releases through their golf swing. And we're now fitting into those shaft technologies and seeing dramatic improvements. So back to the original question is, how do you utilize all this influence? We use it to create awareness. We use it to validate the things that we're doing, because if we can do it at the highest level, it's a lot easier to do it downstream, even though the technology is equally as complicated to build. And so we built a range of products that we think inspires golfers of all skill levels. There it is again, right? The why we exist, right? Golfers of all skill levels. And fortunately, it's enabled us to have a lot of success on a global basis in selling those products.
David, you're an unbelievably impressive human being. I just want you to know that one of the highlights of our lives is being able to speak to a CEO of any company, let alone one of the biggest companies in the world, especially in our world. Aside from the golf talk, do you have how did you get to the role that you're currently in over the last 10, 12 years? And was there anyone that helped you and kind of shepherded you into becoming a leader of such a big company and such an important company to have to make such massively important decisions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars worth of decisions? You're just a human being like the rest of us. How are you in the position that you are? That's so interesting to me.
Well, thanks, Frankie. If you could do me a favor when we're done, give my wife a call and share some of that sentiment with her. That would that would be awesome. Honestly, I'll answer that question directly. In large part, I've been able to do some of the things that I'm very fortunate and humbled to be able to do and be responsible for because of my family. I mean, I have a wife that understands the rigor of looking after a company of this size and the public optics around these athletes and this brand and the responsibility that, quite frankly, I feel every day for our 2,400 people and their family. Though that matters to me every day, guys. But so I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful for my family. But my family outside of the nuclear family that I have at home is our people here, and you guys have seen that. I mean, we operate. It's not that we operate as one. We're aligned in strategy. We're aligned in the things that we do and how we resource around the things that matter most here. But we do it together. And that doesn't mean we don't fight. It doesn't mean we don't agree upon or disagree upon things all the time. But I started my career, like I think most of us, I was carrying a bag, earning a few bucks when I was 13 years old back in central Connecticut as a caddy. I played competitive golf and loved it. I grew up with a wonderful family. My mother, God bless her, may she rest in peace. She was a psychologist and a vocational counselor, so she had the EQ side of our family. My father, 97 years old, and he's probably watching this right now and critiquing everything I'm saying, but he's a PhD in physics and in biochemistry. One of the smartest human beings on the planet, helped solve the reentry theory, which is how do you get a ballistic missile back in the atmosphere? It's not hard to get them out. I mean, I grew up with scientists around the table.
Amazing.
So,
Dude.
you know, you got the IQ of my father, who off the charts. You got the EQ of my mother, and you got a golf club salesman that came out from that, which is really odd. But I grew up playing, I grew up caddying, I grew up working in the game of golf. And when I was getting out of the University of Connecticut, I actually went to University of Connecticut to play basketball as a walk-on. That didn't work out very well. So I decided to pursue golf instead. And one of the greatest pieces of advice is that my father ever shared with me. He said, "Hey, David, if you can make your passion your vocation, you're going to have a long career filled with a lot of success and things that you will be filled with." And so I was clinically trained and classically trained to go down to Wall Street and trade like most of my East Coast buddies were. And the goal was, how can we generate as much income as quickly as we can? But those words resonated in my mind. And I really wanted to build a career out of something I love doing, not something I had to do. And so I was fortunate. I've been mentored by a lot of amazing people along the way. I'm an avid learner. I continue to lean in on others with new ideas, different generations of ideas. I'm incredibly curious. And, you know, I'm also very disciplined, I think, to stay true to the things that matter most. And I think a lot of leaders learn that over time. And I was fortunate to be mentored many years ago by an individual that would say, if you always focus on what matters most and are clear in that definition, you'll make a lot of more meaningful decisions and right decisions than wrong decisions. And the other part that I really learned when I became a sales rep for TaylorMade in the mid 90s was how important our customers were then and how essential they are now. And I always think every decision I make in here, this is true, every single decision I make in this organization, commercial decision that I make with our team or I make individually, is made in and around how our customers would respond to that decision. And is that going to be viewed favorably through the lens of how they play or ultimately how they support our company? And if we can't answer those questions yes, then we'll make another decision that will enable them to say yes. So yeah, Frankie, you know, I share this with my young kids all the time. Find a mentor, find somebody that inspires you. And I can go through a list of them on the podcast, but I've been very fortunate to surround myself with really smart people, but more importantly than being smart, really good people, ethical people, moral people that make good decisions over time. And if you continue to make good decisions over time, those decisions compound themselves and you end up building a great company. And we're fully committed to that. We don't deviate from making the right decisions, even if it costs us some business in the near term. We do not deviate from making the right decisions because we believe over time, making more of them leads to a better success rate for TaylorMade.
I got to tell you, David, you're an interesting guy, and it's an honor to have you. We might have to get your dad on here at some point. He sounds like the most interesting man in America.
He's unbelievable. I'll tell you what, Tread, he's one of a kind. And he'd raise his hand and say, "Put me in, coach." Funny story with my dad. I used to bring him around. He lives back on the East Coast. I'm here in Southern California, but I used to bring him around, still do bring him around TaylorMade when he still kind of comes out here. He still travels a bit, which is amazing, right? 97-year-old, like
Incredible.
superstar. And he had a relationship with our former head of R&D, and these guys would get into these discussions around physics. Now, like I can hold my own, right? I've been around golf long enough. I've been through golf club design and development, working with advanced aerospace engineers, acoustical, mechanical, electrical, all these guys. I can hold my own. But when he gets in here, it's a different level. And so I just kind of step back and just kind of get out of the way. And he gets on with the other PhDs and off they go. It's fascinating. It's very cool. Special man. So shout out to your dad if you're watching.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. I got to say, that's a great question by Frankie, because it is, just kind of getting into this position, the way that you speak about it, how passionate you are about it. And, this company, in the time that you've been at the helm of it, has really, really flourished, taken off. It's been at a great time for golf, like you kind of mentioned earlier, but just incredible job that you've done over there, because I the stat that you mentioned earlier about the most followed thing in golf outside of the PGA Tour is TaylorMade, and to be able to have the range that you guys have, from Adrian putting equipment in the hands of the best players on the planet, and then them going out and winning tournament after tournament with that equipment, all the way to, Tommy Fleetwood playing left-handed and Sunday Red, and Tiger Woods, being convinced to go into business with you on starting an apparel line, to the customization of head covers that get sent to me, to the cool hats that we're all wearing. It's an insane amount of range. So, keep up the great work that you're doing, because it's going in a really good trajectory right now.
Well, Riggs, thanks. Takes a village to do it. And you forgot one element of our success, which is our partnership and friendship with you all. And I mean that. This has been a ton of fun. And you guys are really the best at what you do. We appreciate it. And we'll continue to invest in each other.
David, real quick before you go, because I was thinking about this when we were going to have you on. Was there ever a product over the last decade or so that you were maybe opposed to? Like, you're sitting in the situation room and you're like, what are we going to go with this year? And you thought it wasn't going to take off, and it surprised you. Like, has there ever been a product that was like, that you can think back, that was like, wow, that was a home run that I didn't think was going to take off?
There's been a series of products. Every one of our products tells a story in and around not only the strategic intent of that product, but the requirements of that product as it relates to golfers' needs, or ultimately golfers' needs that support our business needs. There are a few products, I'm happy to share them with you, that I think were defining products for this company. Yeah. And each one of them broke a lot of glass, right? I mean, there was no certainty that it would be tremendously successful. But when we believe in it, and we knew that the performance was real, that it would redefine the way golfers would look at them. So I wasn't here at the time. I was 7 years old, but in 1979, when the company was founded, the first one, the original one, the metalwood, it was and still is the birthright of the company, right? Where many of your listeners probably don't know this, but I mean, woods are called woods because they were made out of wood, right? They were made out of persimmon or laminated wood, and
checks out.
Yeah, checks out, right? And we said, the entrepreneur that founded this company, a guy named Gary Adams, said, I'm not going to make it out of wood. I'm going to make it out of steel, and I'm going to hollow it out, and it's going to be perimeter weighted, and it's going to go further and faster and straighter. And over time, it took well over a decade for the tour to adopt that. But that one was one where, in the true entrepreneurial spirit of an innovation, that's either going to succeed wildly or fail quickly. And fortunately, over time, it succeeded. So I think about that product. I think about when I got started, the burner bubble product. I don't know if you guys remember that one, burner bubble and burner bubble tie.
Oh yeah.
Which was a shaft and head technology, a case-sole technology in the head, which provided greater stability and higher inertia values. Very different measurement at the time and how you got there than where we are today. In faster faces, in a cast steel head, and then ultimately a cast titanium head, and a bubble concept in the shaft that reduced dispersion. So the shaft was more stable at impact, that would give you a straighter ball flight and more consistent launch conditions before there were even launch monitors to determine what those conditions are. So those products were amazing. I'll tell you what, in the modern era, I define the modern era, and this is selfish, but when I came back here in 2015, we drew a line in the sand and said, we're going to be a different company. We talked about that a little bit. We're going to be a different company. And we're gonna be very grateful for the traditions and the history and some of the great things we've done, but this is not the future. The future looks very different. The product that we launched in 2015, the M1 driver. You guys remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Most people don't know this story, but that driver saved TaylorMade.
Wow.
It saved the company.
I just got the
So,
chills.
Rick, you mentioned all the growth trajectory and the value creation in the company. That's wonderful. That's a byproduct of hard work, great people, good decisions, staying connected to the game of golf, and moving forward through real innovation. But had that product not been successful in 2015, I remember stepping up on stage, media everywhere saying, we're moving forward. You're going to see a different version of TaylorMade into the future. We'll retain some of the things that you've loved, but we're not going to run our business this way anymore. We're transforming into the future. And I defined what that was. And at the center of that was this M1 driver. And then what came right behind that was an M2 driver. But the M1 driver in September of 2015 saved this company. Jason Day won. You remember he had it in play. He won the PGA Championship, #1 player in the world. And that driver, the first thermally compressed carbon crown in the industry, track movable weight technology in the sole, it was world-class in every way for every player profile. M2 came behind it, and those two products redefined the future of TaylorMade. And we've built upon that over and over and over again. And to your question, not just in the woods category. I mean, the identity, the birthright of this company starts with a driver. But you think about, we've taken that same intensity, that same desire in advanced technology and high performance beyond woods. Look at our irons business, P790. One of the most iconic, I would say the most iconic players distance iron ever launched, and still the #1 selling players distance iron in golf. Revolutionized, right? Injected speed foam technology into a hollow construction forged body. That's incredible. What we've done with spider technology. I mean, I pinch myself every day, TaylorMade athletes, non-TaylorMade athletes, spiders everywhere. And that's super exciting. And you want to know why, guys? It isn't because Scotty switched to spider and became arguably one of the best putters in the world, and Rory's winning majors and Grand Slams with spider, and Tommy switched to spider and wins the FedEx Cup. Those are all awesome things. And you know why they switched is because they putt better with it. But when I see 18 handicappers in my Sunday foursomes where we've got 3 out of 4 in spider, knowing I still have one more to get, but everybody's putting better. It's a better technology. It feels better. The inertia properties are higher. The sight line, the true path is better. It rolls better. It's simply a better product. And then what we've done in golf ball, right? The evolution of TaylorMade becoming a major player in golf ball with 5-piece construction, TP5 and 5X. You put all this together, it's amazing. So there are a series of products that have, surprised us and helped define us. But I will tell you guys this, we will be relentless in the pursuit of new ideas to help us improve performance day after day here. And sometimes things work really well. Fortunately, they have more than not over the past several years. And sometimes, we go too far. I'll give you an example. When we launched Stealth 2, you remember we had some quality issues with that product for high ball speed players, right? We had some breakage in the face. You guys know why that was the case? Because we pushed innovation so far to go so fast. The structural integrity to be able to develop and manufacture that product pushed too far, and we had breakage. And what did we do? We solved that issue, and now we're in QI4D, got through QI10, QI35, QI4D. No durability issues, best-in-class quality, best-in-class performance. We would have never gotten there had we not pushed so hard with Stealth 2. Never gotten there, but here we are.
It's amazing. I love the openness and honesty about that, because we were a part of all of that, and it was like you have to go through these different types of drivers and what are the new technologies, and you guys were pushing it quick. Like, we were always getting handed a new driver, and you're like, how did you get this much work done from the 1 to the 2 or the 10 to 35? You're moving light years ahead within the matter of, like, I mean, people think it's a year or 2 years. It's like a couple months, right? Like, you guys are releasing this driver. The next one's already been worked on for years prior to that. It's amazing the innovation that has to go into it. You guys are thinking about the next one years prior to us talking right now. They've probably been working on the next driver, just trying to push forward innovation in the future and what golf is going to look like in 2030 and 2035. How are you going to keep it new and fresh? And you got to get all these. It's mind-boggling to us when we get to see a peek behind the curtain. I don't know how you guys get it done, but you do. And there are going to be some hiccups along the way, but you're able to fix those and move forward and come out with the best product because of that, that's amazing. That's just, it really has been so interesting to watch behind the scenes.
Frankie, it's environmental, and that's a very meaningful question and position. Like, we are thinking about not just next year, we're thinking about the next 5 years.
Right.
And quite frankly, stealth technology, which now, interestingly enough, remember when stealth came out, holy cow, TaylorMade's moving into thermally compressed 60-ply carbon faces. And is anybody going to follow? And major manufacturer says, no, we're not going to go there. And now all of a sudden, everybody's migrating there, right? We're going to start to migrate to get into compressed carbon and so those innovations give us a lot of pride because others ultimately follow a lot of the things that we've done. But we take it very seriously. And the only way you can do it is environmentally. You have to be able to create an environment in your organization that is willing to listen to new ideas, as abstract as they may be, as controversial as they may be, in order to synthesize those ideas in an honest forum to say, hold on, let's talk about that a little bit. And I'll tell you, one thing that doesn't happen in meetings at TaylorMade is when someone says, well, this is how we used to do things, they get tossed out of the meeting. If someone says, hey, I think there's an opportunity to do things differently, we lean in. And so it's environmental. People have to have an environment, smart people, creative people, where they can actually bring new ideas to the table and feel safe in doing so. And it goes back to the village. It goes back to the people. It goes back to the culture here. We live by that. And we're not perfect. We are not perfect, but we strive for perfection. And I think through that, we become better and better through the things that we do that matter to us most.
I'm fired up, man. I am fired up.
Yeah. Me too.
Awesome.
I want to thank you too for starting the mini driver craze. I'm obsessed with that thing.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that thing. It's just awesome. It's such a cool club. I know Tommy Fleetwood really put it on the map. We've seen other companies now trying to come out with their own iteration, but that was all spearheaded by you guys. And I know we talked about like M1. I was starting to think about Brooks Koepka, I think still plays like an M2 3-wood. So that's how good some of these clubs that you guys have made over the years are. But bringing back that mini driver, David, well, thank you very much. That's been huge for me on many days out there.
Yeah, that one, to Frankie's question, Riggs, that one surprised us. Like we had this idea that we can build a mini driver platform. And really the idea was, how do we conquer for our tour players when they're playing at the Masters, number 10 at Augusta, right? Mm-hmm. 3-wood's not enough. Driver's too much. How do we turn one around the corner with continuity, consistency, and high performance? And all of a sudden this mini driver discussion started to happen, and it's fast, it's cool. Great story. So I've been very fortunate to be invited to play at the AT&T for a few years. And I'm incredibly humbled that I'm going back again this year and going to play with
Steve John. What a legend Steve
He's
John
the best. He's the best. And so my 15-year-old's on my bag this year. And he says to me, Dad, he says, what's our set comp going to look like? I said, I'll tell you what, at Pebble, on 1, 3, 4, 8, 15, and 16, we're hitting mini driver. He says, okay, Dad, we got mini driver in the bag. I said, oh yeah, we've got our R7 mini driver ready to go. It's in the bag. So it's an incredible product. Hit it off the fairway, hit it off the tee. It's tremendous. That one surprised us. I mean, we think about that. When we launched mini driver, the original form, about, I think it was 6 or 7 years ago in 2018 or 19. Now everybody has a mini driver. Everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's another innovative, creative idea that led to others leaning in saying, we've got to be part of that. And that's just very cool. That's the cool part about this, right? Which is when others validate the success you're having. There it is.
Thing.
There's the burner, right? The burner.
You know what I'm saying, man? Look at that thing.
It's beautiful.
God.
So
that OG text and logo also is just, I love it.
Yeah.
Come on.
And I'd like to think, some of the things we do beyond the technology and the technical precedent performance, they're just cool too, guys. I mean, we're just using throwback brands, R7 mini quad and burner, and we had a 300 series mini driver. I mean, those are cool things that resonated with golfers years ago, and you bring them back, and it's fun.
That's part of it. You
It's
just
part
want
of
cool
it.
stuff.
Yeah,
Who doesn't
very
want cool
cool
stuff, Every time I pull that mini driver, I mean, people have seen them a little bit now, but for years I'd pull that thing on the tee and people would be like, you got one of those TaylorMade mini drivers? I'd be like, yep. They'd be like, can I see that thing? And they would everybody would they'd size it up a little bit, be like, that's nice. I know, it's cool. So that is a huge part of it, just doing cool stuff. But Yeah, gosh, you guys have crushed it. You've absolutely crushed it. You get it a lot, which we appreciate. I think that's been a huge part of kind of this just takeoff that golf has seen. It's like you guys were kind of there with the right idea, the right mindset at the right time. With folks coming in and getting into golf. I think, like you said, there's a lot of people in meetings that have said for years and years and years, especially in golf, of like, well, this is the way that we do it, and this is the way that we've always done it. And now you've got this influx of characters that are on a wide range of their relationship to the game of golf. And if you could just offer them all kinds of range like you guys do, but also just offer them cool stuff that's going to make them play better golf, I think it's like very obvious why TaylorMade has continued to rise. So yeah, it's an awesome conversation to have with you. We got to have you back on more often.
Oh, yeah.
This is very enlightening and very fun for us.
My pleasure, guys.
Amazing.
All right. David Abeles, you are the man. You guys run a great company over there, so keep up the great work. We're very honored to be partnered with you guys, and I know a lot of folks from TaylorMade are probably listening to this, so huge thanks to everybody who's helped us along the way, and let's keep trying to get everybody playing, better golf.
Let's do it. I know you guys are leaning in, doing your part. Keep it up. I'm an inspired fan and thrilled to continue to make this run with you guys. And so I'll get out. I mean, that cold weather will be behind us pretty soon here, and we'll be turning the corner toward the Players and then Augusta. And I got to tell you guys, I think 2026, what we're seeing already, we are off to a very fast start. Markets are good. Receptions to our new products are exceptional. We're going to continue to bring as much value as we can to golfers everywhere around the world. And we do that together. Nobody's stopping us together, guys.
Go, baby.
I love it.
Awesome.
Right.
We appreciate
You ever going to write a book? You ever going to write a book?
I got a lot of stories, Frankie, that I think you might want to read.
I love it. Such an impressive guy, dude. Such an impressive guy. Thank you so much, David. This has been like truly an honor for us. And I know it's a partnership and everything, but regardless, if we didn't even have this partnership, it would be unbelievable to be able to speak to you. So thank you for your time. You've given us about an hour's worth of your time. You're an incredibly important and busy person. So it means a lot to us to have this time with you.
Thank you, guys. Means a lot to me. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, David.
All right. See you guys.
Let's be honest, watching YouTube swing tips is not going to fix your game. You know what is going to fix your game is the Barstool Golf Skills Training Aid Collection, which you can get at golfgalaxy.com/barstool, or you can go to a Dick's Sporting Goods House of Sport or Golf Galaxy location near you. If you're trying to break 100, break 90, break 80, break 70, whatever it might be, we've got it. And we've got them co-branded. They're cool. You can go pick them up right now. You can order them online. The hinge trainer, the swing guide trainer, the chipping net is incredible. All of it's really, really good stuff that's going to help. I really like the putting mirror. You see PGA Tour pros using it. You see everybody using it at every level. It lines up your eyes. It gets your ball position proper. You can look at where your path is at. You can see down in the mirror if your eyes are aligned where they're supposed to be. And we partnered up with Skills to make it all the best stuff.
Yeah, you just got to try and get better at this game. And we're at the beginning of the year. The golf season hasn't started for most of the people in the country. This is the time to really get those bad habits out of the way. You don't want to start the year with bad habits. So last year was last year. This is a whole new page, a clean slate, a new chapter. Let's get all of these skills, Barstool Golf training aids, get them in your garage, get them in your backyard, start working on your swing path, start working on your putting stroke. Make sure that when the season rolls around, you are prepared the right way. Start to get the grip right. Start to get all the club face in the right spot. Don't waste another year. We've only got one life, okay? One long tripper on this rock, okay? We're flying through space. Don't let another year go by before you start to figure out this game. You're spending a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort. Get it done the right way. Go to your nearest Dick's Sporting Goods or Golf Galaxy and just buy these things that are going to make you better at the game of golf.
It is golfgalaxy.com/barstool. That's going to be a great link for you to go check them out. Or once again, swing by a Dick's Sporting Goods House of Sport or a Golf Galaxy location near you and check out the Skills Barstool Golf Training Aids.
Just a fantastic interview all around. Getting a CEO on the show is something that we do not take lightly. So thank you so much to David. Hope we can hear from him many more times in our future as we have this partnership with TaylorMade. Post-show, fellas, we got a lot of things going on in our lives. I don't know what you guys want to get to. I know we got a couple things.
I just got to start with my friend Bill Belichick. Just an all-time screw job for Bill Belichick, my good friend Bill Belichick, who, again, I went to Amsterdam with Bill Belichick. I flew on Josh Isner's plane with Bill Belichick for 7 hours each way. Bill Belichick is the man. We had such a good time with him going to the Taylor Swift concert. I don't know if I told this whole story, but he bought us at like midnight after the show because we were all messed up on East Coast time still. He went over and got like $150 worth of Burger King and set it on the table for like me, Lurch, Josh, Pilar from our merch team was there, and we just pounded Burger King with Bill Belichick, and he's telling stories. He's just a really fucking cool, good dude. I don't even say screw. Bill Belichick shouldn't be embarrassed. This is almost just like an embarrassment of the entire operation, because it's at some point, if a committee comes out and is like, we have determined that the sky is green, you would just be like, all right, these people just don't know what they're talking about, so who cares what they have to say? That's sort of how I felt when this came out, of like, okay, they're just like looking at a factual situation and then determining something else. Like, obviously he's a first ballot Hall of Fame. He's not even first. He's like, maybe he's just the greatest coach of all time. Like, what are you talking about? He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. So I thought, I just had to mention that. I thought that's the most ridiculous thing I ever read when I saw it.
If he can't get in, then there should be 0 people in the Hall of Fame. We got to start kicking people out. If the barrier to entry is too high for Bill Belichick, then there should be no Hall of Fame. There's clearly some politics involved. Like, I know Dave has been all over it with like Bill polling. There's somebody pulling the strings on this, because it's almost not even worthy of a discussion. It's a sports debate that is not a debate, which is very rare, where it's like clearly Bill Belichick should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, I feel dumb even having to say that, and that's how everyone feels, and that's how everyone felt when this news came out. It's like, who is going to be on the opposite side of this other than the assholes on the inside who are like, haha, we're going to stick it to Bill Belichick and not let him in as a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah, it is so perplexing that, it's almost like you can't help but just get riled up, and it's almost beyond so perplexing that it's like not worth getting riled. You're like, oh, they just don't, like, they don't know what's real and what's not real. They don't, those people that made that decision just can't think. They can't use their brains. And so it's almost like frustrating to even get riled up about it because it's so far from reality.
I think this might lead to like a melting down of the current structure of the Hall of Fame, and like they got to restructure it and somehow figure out a way, but I think if you dig a little bit deeper, it's because he beat these guys. He kept beating these guys. He robbed these guys of potential Super Bowls that they were going to win. And they probably thought that like, oh, he cheated. But like, I just think like that you have such a tenure like that it even overrides that type of stuff. It's the whole thing is crazy.
I also think you like can't overestimate the legitimate political impact that messes up people's brains. Like Belichick is a Trump guy. Had him on his podcast before the election. Like, he's the letter during the campaign, all this stuff. Like, and I think that just messes up people's brains. They cannot, like, which is so ridiculous because it should be a historical record, like you're saying. And I think people let all of that seep in, because it's the only way I can explain it, because it's inexplicable. It's just like, look at the record. This guy's the greatest. Like, look, and it's not even close. How the amount of Super Bowls, the amount of wins, the amount of like just going to winning AFC Championship game, going to AFC Championship game every single year for 2 decades essentially is just, it's like not even close. So I'm with you. It drives me nuts. It drives me absolutely nuts. We're going to wrap this show up with Closest to the Pin, Trent Eddy. This will be our second one of the year, I believe.
I think that's right. Fun. Ryan Richard, do you want to give a recap of the last one that we did?
Yeah, Trent absolutely destroyed everyone. It was
God, Trent's good at this game, man.
Trent 4, Frankie 1, Rig 0.
Go through each. Okay, I was gonna say go through each one. I kind of want to go through each one.
I got you.
Yeah.
So this was obviously a few weeks ago, but it was Fernando Mendoza's passing yards in the college football semifinal. Rig said 327, Frankie 277, Trent 238, and it was 177. So Trent was closest there. Total amount of goals scored in the Islander games, I think it was 2 games. It was 2 games. It was 10. Riggs guessed 14, Frankie 11, and Trent on the dot with 10.
Hockey guy.
2 points.
Hockey guy.
Temperature at 2 points there.
Exact temperature at the start of the Bears-Packers game. Riggs said 26. Frankie and Trent both said 28. So it was a tie. It was 33. So they each got 1 there.
Okay.
And then the number of clips Mincy would put out from his personal Twitter on his viral trip to the college football semifinal. Riggs said 4, Frankie said 3, Trent said 2, and it was 2 on the dot. So
Wait, so Trent got more than 4. Trent got like
6 points.
Yeah, I don't.
Right,
Right,
that's
on the dot, you get 2.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. All right.
So there you go.
So he's got 6.
That's
All right, cool.
unreal.
Dominate.
What a performance.
Dominate.
So Mincy
dude.
posted 2 original videos?
Yep. One was a retweet, or it wasn't a retweet, but it was he like posted something from his previous trip, so I didn't count that one because it wasn't from the current trip he was on. It was like him in New Orleans listening to like Panic and stuff like that. So
Trying to figure out what Mincy did post and didn't post is a nightmare. To like try to track those numbers.
He truly just lived his life, did no work, and luckily Tate was there to do the work.
Yeah, the 2 clips he posted were like halftime updates at the game. That was pretty much it.
Incredible.
He's the
All
best.
right, so Trent played really well last year and close to the pin, so really good start here. So what is it? It's 6
6-1. Or
6-1.
6 Trent, Frankie 1, Riggs 0.
Okay.
And we're gonna get Ryan Richin involved on this one.
Yeah, you're in now too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
So we'll send in the chat with the you hide the number.
Yeah.
All right, closest to the pin. We're gonna start.
Okay.
What's that?
In which chat? The one with us 4?
The 4 of us.
Okay.
All right, closest to the pin. We're going to start off with a golf one here. It's a golf podcast, but after that, there are no more golf questions. But Brooks Koepka, obviously in the news, playing with the Farmers Insurance this week, first tournament back. How many birdies will Brooks Koepka make on Friday at the Farmers? How many birdies will Brooks Koepka make on Friday?
Do we know which course he's playing? Because I think the North course is easier than the South course.
Something I should have looked up and I did not.
That's okay.
Okay.
As long as we all don't know the same thing.
Okay. Ryan, Rich, do you want to read those off?
Yeah, I got you. Frankie thinks he'll get 4 birdies. I said 5. Trent 5. Riggs 5.
Oh,
okay.
jeez.
Anything
Okay.
less
It's a
than
good
5.
spot for Borelli to be in.
Yep.
Really nice.
I hope he gets exactly 5. Would be nice though.
Next question. The Grammys are on Sunday.
Ooh.
Grammys are upcoming this Sunday. Kendrick Lamar leads nominations. He got 9 nominations. Kendrick Lamar, 9 Grammy nominations. The question is, how many Grammys will Kendrick Lamar win at the 2026 Grammys?
God, I know nothing about this.
No, I don't know anything about this.
I'll give you the categories. It's not. I mean, you're not gonna. It's not gonna help.
okay.
It's
probably,
not
but-
going to help. It's not going to help.
Now, is this like all like anti-Drake stuff?
So last year was he won 5 Grammys, I think, last year for the Not Like Us. So
Okay.
that was the. But
He came out with
then
a new album.
I was looking it up because I was like, I had my timelines all messed up, but this album came out a while ago, but it didn't qualify for last year's Grammys. So this is the GNX
It's always
album.
weird how they do that. It's
I know.
always
I
weird how
like
they do that.
even when I looked it up, I didn't get a full answer. But the album, which does not have Not Like Us on it, I believe, this was just his latest album that people loved, and it obviously got a lot of nominations.
All right, so Trent says 7, Frankie says 5, Riggs says 5, and I also say 7.
7 Grammys.
I don't like that.
I mean, you
Trent
gotta
said 7.
think-
He knows this shit, man.
If he's nominated for that many, you got to think he's going to win a good chunk of them. That was my thinking, at least.
7.
Just for fun, how many current Grammys do you think Kendrick Lamar has?
I mean,
I don't
I'm gonna
know.
say 16.
He's got
25?
22. He's got 22.
Oh my God.
Stunning. I mean, he's an incredible artist, but that's just a lot of Grammys. Okay, next question. It's a basketball one. It was unfortunate. There's not a ton of sports outside of hockey and basketball going on. Football's, where you got a week between now and the Super Bowl. College football's done. What's that?
Tennis.
Tennis. I could have done tennis. I don't know.
By the way, I got
Sure.
a tennis guy on Instagram who's just killing me right now. He's been DMing me tennis picks, and I took 2 of them, 0-2, and it wasn't even close. He's fucking guy had me on this Iga last night, and she fucking lost like 6-1 in the second set or something. I was like, this guy. So fuck that, man. God.
I don't know enough about tennis to even like get into that world and make up a question about it. So I went with basketball, and I said, how many points, rebounds, assists, and blocks combined will Victor Wembanyama have on Saturday against the Hornets? Now I'll give you his current season averages, so that'll help you out a little bit. 24.2 points, 11.1 rebounds, 2.8 assists, and 2.7 blocks. And if you ever have a chance to watch this guy play basketball, just turn it on and enjoy, because it's so much fun. It's unlike any basketball player you've ever seen in your life.
Oh, I'm going in a month, dude. I'm going.
Are you?
Well, who you seen him play?
The Nets. I mean, it's just, if you go to the MSG, it's going to be crazy prices. So I'm going to a crappy Nets game on a Thursday night out in Brooklyn.
Hold on here. I don't know.
I got Islanders
MVP
Rangers
bet
tonight. I got my Uzi. I got my Uzis. I got my. What does Kevin Garnett say? I got my Uzis. I got my minis. I got my grenades. I got my rocket launchers.
Hold on here. Sorry, I'm taking a lot of time. Okay.
All right. So Trent said 44, Riggs 44,
Wow.
Frankie 47, me 45.
All right. Anything over 45, I'm in the lead.
Let's catch this fucking guy. How am I going to catch Trent if I'm on Trent?
I could have a hot week this week.
And then the last one. So we are, Riggs lives out there, but we are all going out to the Waste Management. We're going out there for a full week. We're hanging out there. There is supposed to be a snowstorm coming to New York City on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
That it could stop us from getting out there at the time that we want. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. But I am asking, how many inches of snow will New York City get this weekend with the upcoming storm? The reports that I've seen, it's either going to be a lot or a little. Like, there's these two systems that are either going to meet or they're going to miss each other. If they miss each other, very little snow. If they meet, it could be all hell breaking loose. So that's the amount of research I did for this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I know our flight's originally Sunday. I might be moving it to Monday just to be safe Monday morning. It's going to be chaos. I think airlines I'm hearing are going to start canceling flights just out of caution, even if it doesn't snow. So it's just like, those are one of those days I'm not ending up in an airport where I'm just walking around as people are freaking chickens with their heads off. I call that Delta representative again. Just give her a piece of my mind. That was insane, man. I hung up on her.
I just want a recording of that, just of you. I want to watch you have that phone call.
And I was with Hannah at the counter. We were doing it. We were trying to book our trip to our friend's wedding, and we both looked at each other. We're like, "Holy shit, she's being so mean to me."
This lady's being super mean to me.
All right, so Trent says there's going to be 5.3 inches. Riggs says 9 inches. Frankie 11, and I said 0. I'm fading it, dude.
All right.
I'm saying nothing.
Price is Right 0.
11 would be
right action. Nice
preposterous,
work,
but-
Bob Barker. Good job, Bob Barker.
If we get an 11 inches, we're never getting Arizona. Like,
Well, it depends on where you're at, because like I know in East Meadow they got close to a foot, and I got 6.5 out here or whatever it was. So like,
So I was wondering that when
Manhattan.
you said that on Monday, dude. We got like 14 inches in Hoboken. There are cars buried in the street.
yeah.
and you
So
said
I
you
didn't
got
get
6
we
inches.
didn't get
Like,
nearly
that's-
as much on the South Shore of Long Island.
Yeah, I think New York City got like 10 or 11 inches.
Let me tell you something about this book 1776. Like,
Yeah, of course.
the way that they describe like all that area, like you guys were saying, like Kips Bay, and you're able to look on Google Maps on your phone of current locations, Gravesend Bay and all that. Like these are places like right by Coney Island, like where I've gone and had a hot dog. Like 20,000 British soldiers were boarded onto boats and they landed onto Long Island, which they really call it Long Island, but now like the boroughs of New York City, they call it the Brooklyn. I still consider Long Island, Brooklyn, physically Long Island, because it is. You need to take a bridge to get over to the other side of New York City. But it's amazing, man. And I'm not done with it yet. So I started last week, this is probably the quickest I've ever read a book. And I'm almost done. I've got one chapter left, and I don't know how America wins. Like, I'm at the point now where like I'm watching it being like, there's literally no way that they succeeded, because the Battle of Long Island was such an absolute disaster that like, how did the British ever give up? And also the thing about like old time battles, like non-modern battles, like why did they always like stop? And like when someone was on the offensive, why did they always like stop and not just keep going? Like it always boggled my mind. Like the British, and multiple times I know that there were like fates of God and wind and all these things that came into Americans' favor, but like they're like the time when they were pushing on to New York, like they stopped and they said like they had tea with a woman that was like Mrs. Murray, who's now named after Murray Hill. Like they just like didn't pursue. They wanted to wait for more cavalry to come in and more troops. Like just keep going and just like kill them then and there. I never understood that.
Well, I think the Monday morning quarterbacking of those battles, they talk about that. They're like, you should have kept pressing. And there were certain generals who just their demeanor was like, no, we're going to wait or we're going to push. And there are people who would argue if you just kept pushing, you would have won. Those battles,
General
you would have
Howe
annihilated
in
the army
Boston,
to the point.
and he stopped in New York. He kept stopping. Like he would gain on Americans and then stop. And then Washington would always have like 2 or 3 nights to be like, all right, what's our next move? I never understood that. Like that mindset to me is like, let's just end it now. And also like the really weird where like my mind goes is like Benjamin Franklin boarded their boat to like talk right before the clash in New York, and like why didn't they just kill all the Americans there? Like I've never understood that. Like if you're at war with these people, like how the courtesy is always amazing to me too. I know that
especially during that time.
Correct.
I think like battle and stuff was done in a very like elegant way.
Oh,
as crazy
okay.
as that sounds.
Yeah. I thought it'd be more savage back then.
No, it was like very elegant. It honestly was. It was like there were certain like you almost fought with class and with like honor,
right?
And the way, and then afterwards you
that just even the way that they battled on the field, like
they would like line up, and it was like proper to kind of like go through it like in the proper way, and then in the evening time they would be like, we're gonna stop battling now. You could go attend to your wounded and your dead, and we'll do the same, and then we will resume fighting each other
out of
tomorrow.
there, and like
it's like. It's kind of how they did it. It's kind of crazy.
They capture 1,000 people. Yep. Like, I mean, then you got the Hessians or however you pronounce that, the Germans, they're taking people's heads off and putting them on sticks. Just absolutely insane.
You also learn, like, I don't know anything about war or battle before I read this book, but you learn that a successful retreat, it's not a win, but it's more towards a win than it is a loss. Like when George Washington was trying to get people out of Long Island and out of like Brooklyn.
That was incredible.
Right. That's an incredible moment. And you would think if you're just like, before reading it, I hear retreat, I'm like, well, you lost. But in that world, if you retreat successfully and under, the cloak of night and do it before they figure out what you're doing, it's not a win, but it's closer to that than it is a loss.
Well, because if you think about it rationally, like, yes, they're gaining like land on you and they're gaining it, but like they're not actually acquiring anything. They're just like now standing on Long Island when you're standing somewhere else. Like you're not acquiring, you're acquiring goods and you're eating better and you're on like the luscious farms of Long Island and all these things, but you're not acquiring, like you're not pinning them up against a wall. Like I think when I think of retreat, I'm thinking of a person running through an alleyway behind a restaurant and like the police are running after him and all of a sudden he's up against a brick wall and he has nowhere to go. Like I think of retreat that way. Meanwhile, like they're just retreating to like a higher ground, which now you can like reassess and you can just continue fighting. I mean, it's expansive land. You can go from New York to Providence to Boston. You can just keep going. Like
it's also like the psyche of it is so important, where it's like, are you the British who are so far away from home? Can we drag you out for months and months and months? Whereas like we have this burning fire to protect our wives and our kids and our land. Like, are you going to keep fucking doing this? Are you going to keep crossing these fucking rivers and fighting us? Or we're just going to drag your asses out? Like there's such an element of that too.
Dude, one of my favorite parts of the book was when they got to Long Island and New York, when they were like the British soldiers when they got there, and especially in Staten Island where they were like staying and stationing, that they were like, why do these people not want to be under our rule? They are living way better lives than we are in Britain. Like 1,000 times better. They have better houses, they have better jobs, they have nicer crops, like the weather is better. They were stunned that they wanted to defect from British rule. They're like, if we would have known that you guys were doing this all along, we would have went to war with you guys to have what you have. Like, we want to live here. This is insane. Like, you guys are complaining and you've got it made compared to us.
I got some breaking news.
I thought that was interesting.
You got breaking news.
Oh, shit.
Patrick Reed is coming back to the PGA Tour.
What?
Excuse me? What?
How is that possible?
What?
Did you just get AI'd, man?
Oh,
no, Brendan Jones texted me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Seeking reinstatement. Okay. For 2027.
In a stunning move, 9-time PGA Tour winner Patrick Reed is leaving the Live Golf League and is seeking reinstatement of his PGA Tour membership for the 2027 season, playing out the past championship category.
Trying to find like a source for this, like a real source.
Nuclear Golf is saying that the PGA Tour statement was as a result of his resigning his
PGA Tour Communications tweeted it out.
This
okay,
statement?
I found a PGA Tour article. Here we go. Has announced his plans to return to tour competition later this year as he looks to reinstate his membership for the 2027 season. This is on the PGA Tour website. At that time, which again it says he would be eligible to return to tour competition on August 25th, 2026 as a non-member, provided that he complies with tour regulations and does not participate in additional unauthorized events. At that time, Reed would be eligible to participate in FedEx Cup fall events as a non-member and could accept sponsor exemptions or participate in open qualifying for those tournaments. Wow. Reed would then be able to reinstate his membership for the 2027 tour season, where he would play out of the past champion category. He's 35 years old, plans to play this year on the DP World Tour, where he won Sunday. Reed would be eligible to improve his 2027 tour status as one of the top 10 finishers on the DP World Tour's season-long Race to Dubai rankings, where he currently ranks second, and would play the 2027 season out of the highest eligible category he achieves. Wow.
So he's done with Live is what is being said there. He's done with it. He's out. He had said in the comments that he made that we talked about in the last podcast that he said he'd be stunned if you weren't teeing it up in Riyadh in the next couple of weeks to kick off the Live season. And it seems like those talks broke down.
Color him stunned.
Stunned. I want to be the first to say I'm super excited, and that makes me really happy.
Yeah,
I want to echo the comments that I made on the last podcast. The PGA Tour with Patrick Reed is better. It's more entertaining. There's more to talk about. This is incredible.
I think it's better than like DJ returning to the PGA Tour. I think it's more interesting.
100%.
Patrick
Without
Reed.
a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt.
So glad we had that conversation in the last podcast, man. We put it perfectly of like, just get this guy back in the mix. He's unbelievable. His wife with the tweets, his cheating claims. He's claiming he's like the best player in the world. He's got all kinds of backstory that he was like robbing his teammates in the locker room. Like he's just, you got to have him in the mix. He's winning the Masters and like that. You know, it's just, yes, that's great.
I'm not breaking any news here. Liv is in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Now, wait a minute. Wasn't he just playing last night? He almost made a hole-in-one under the lights. Wasn't he playing?
I think that was a clip from another time.
Oh, it was.
Where would he have been playing last night?
Yeah, I don't think he's playing on a Monday night. Unless he's a TGL. Maybe he'll be a TGL guy.
He could be. See, now we're talking. If we're talking about interesting.
1 year ago. I got fucking botted, man.
That's all right, bro. It happens. The internet's a scary place these days.
2025 season is underway in Riyadh, and it was Patrick Reed almost making a hole-in-one.
Internet will get you, man. They'll
big
leave
time.
those little breadcrumbs.
Well,
for you,
one of those things you're like scrolling by and you're like, oh,
Gotcha.
Patrick Reed almost made a hole-in-one Live, and you just kind of scroll by it. You don't think that he's going to be joining the PGA Tour the next day, and then your brain starts to go, wait, I just saw him almost make a hole-in-one last night. Like it starts to go. You're like, oh, I didn't even pay attention to what that said.
So the thing that you laid out and that the statement said, do you think that's how it'll go, or do you think right now Brian Rolap is in his office being like, we're going to do the Patrick Reed return to the PGA Tour membership program?
I think there's a meeting.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. Yeah. Get him back, dude. Let's have him next week at the Open. Get him at the Phoenix Open.
Now,
Let's
him
go.
winning this DP World Tour event obviously spearheaded this entire thing, because that like light bulb started to go off in his head where he's like, oh shit, now there's a path. Right? There had to have been.
Probably helped for sure.
Yeah.
Probably helped for
Had
sure.
he not won that, I'm saying like he had nothing to stand on, right? Like now at least he could be like, I'm like second in DP World Tour. Where does it get me if I'm number one? I can get into non-PGA Tour eligible events or like non-card having events, blah, blah, blah. Like give me a path if I continue this play like this. I really think that Patrick Reed winning that reminded him like, hey, I can do this now.
Yeah.
Definitely had to have helped. You know what I mean? Had to have helped. That's a lot of pressure he was playing under, last week. If you really think about it, it's like he's the live guy. He was clearly in this mindset of like, I kind of want to leave. Can I get back on the tour? What would it look like? And even if they stick to what they currently just said, that's not a bad pathway, man. Like he's playing in the Masters tournament. He'll be in all the DP World Tour events all the way up through August, which I know seems like that's like 7 months from now. It's not that crazy.
No.
And then in the fall, he could play a bunch of tour events. There's some great events in the fall. And then for next season, I mean, he's got the past champion category exemption. I don't know exactly what that means, but I think it's pretty legitimate that like he's locked in for tour status. So not the worst pathway if that's even like that's the worst case scenario for him. That's not that bad.
Finally, some breaking news while we're recording. I love that. Way to be Ryan Richardson.
Attaboy.
Man, Ryan Richardson.
That's I can't keep a smile off my face. I'm Patrick Reed. What a guy.
Things are happening.
Grin, dude.
Things are happening.
Just get that grin going when he comes back. God, that's great. That's fucking great. All right.
What a show.
What a show is right. What a show. Thank you everyone for listening. Next week is Phoenix Open week. So on Tuesday we have the tournament chairman Jason Eisenberg on the show. So we're going to be talking all Phoenix Open. You guys are hopefully going to be out here depending on how many inches of snow that you get.
We'll be out there.
So yeah, things are happening.
We'll be out there.
Baby.
We're doing some fun stuff. We have a DraftKings event that Trent and I are going to be playing in where it's like it's a shootout on the 16th hole, which is going to be insane. And I think I'm going to be out there for the Pro-Am I just heard last night. Is that happening?
Whoa.
I think there's a decent chance that you're playing in the Pro-Am.
I heard some rumblings about that, and my driver hasn't been worse in my entire life. I might just be going 5-wood off the tee, which is fine. We can live like that.
Only shot that matters is the iron shot on 16, Frankie.
That's
so you can drive it all.
I just don't want to kill
place.
anybody out there. So I mean, I'm just putting that out there right now. But
that's the big Pro-Am too. That Pro-Am on Wednesday is like, I mean, there's going to be some names out here, some big time names playing in that thing.
Michael Phelps, Larry Fitzgerald, the whole deal. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm excited if that actually happens. So, and we'll be at the tent. So we're going to be, hopefully we'll be there Monday at the latest, but hopefully Sunday. And we'll be at the tent. We've got a ton of good merchandise in the tent. I think we have stuff. Just like last year, we've got one of the biggest presences in the tent that you can possibly imagine. They keep going more and more each year. We've got multiple racks across the women's side, the men's side. We've got jerseys, we've got hats like you wouldn't believe, and we've got those shoes, the shoes that sold out on our website. We've got those, I think, in the tent, right, fellas? Those are going to be on premises. Yes. So you can actually wear those minty shoes right out of the tent if you want to. Leave your old ones, leave your old pairs with us. We'll throw them out, and you can walk out with a beautiful Adidas Samba Barstool shoe. So I'm super pumped. It's always one of our biggest weeks of the year. Riggs now super involved with the Waste Management Phoenix Open. So I am pumped to get down to Arizona.
It's been really cool, man. We've been out to TBC almost every day for the last 2 weeks, to be honest with you. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. It's cool being on the inside of it. You're over there just kind of helping things that need to be done, hosting people. We host a lot of the, as you can imagine, there's thousands of workers over there building that thing out on a day-to-day basis. So we're over there, there's lunch for them every day. There's a cool little bar set up where we kind of hang, make sure people come by, have drinks if they want, and watch the whole thing sort of get completed. There's a brand new structure on 16 this year, entire new structure. The entire build out is new. And so there's a lot of new stuff. Again, we kind of get into that Tuesday with the tournament chairman, Jason Eisenberg, which is a great interview. So a lot of fun stuff next week. So yeah, golf season 2026 is picking up. Koepka's playing. Patrick Reed's trying to get back. We got Phoenix Opens kicking here soon. So just before you know it, we are in the swing of things. So yeah, very exciting times. Awesome interview today. So big thanks to David once again for giving us an hour of his time. I mean, think about what that guy could have done with that hour. That's like such a value loss for the TaylorMade company right there that he was with us for an hour. So sorry about that. But yeah, awesome show. Big thanks to Ryan Richardson. Just nailed it this show. We get closest to the pin. So very fun show. Thanks everyone for listening. We will see, I'm sure, a ton of you next week at TPC at the WM Phoenix Open. So have a great weekend. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.